Most expensive talent that you booked?
Yeah, Drake. The first time I'm telling this story. What addiction, not you, bro. In my bedroom, fell to my knees. Boom, rock bottom. That's how I got into the club ownership side of things at 25 years old. I was making from $15,000 to $20,000 a week. I literally had it in my sock drawer. These kids' parents, they'd call me, be like, what kind of drugs do you have my son selling?
Yeah. Getting out of nightlife, it feels impossible.
Oh, this podcast changed my life. And when you texted me the rise of Nicki, the fall of Nicki, and the rise of Nicki, I got a little choked up. I said he doesn't even know that the rise, again, started with NBA.
Welcome back to the MBH podcast. Money buys happiness, baby. All right. First of all, if you're here, you know what to do. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. Like the video. Leave a comment. Leave comments as you go through. I've seen you guys been doing that recently, so we appreciate that. Helps the algo. Snapchat, everything. You know what to do. All our links are in the fucking bio. Pop in there.
Buy some merch, please.
And if you're listening, we're fucking begging you.
Buy more merch. I need to stay in Miami. Come on.
And if you guys are listening, to our listeners, we love you guys too. I know we don't show enough love, but 5 stars. 5 stars on Spotify.
Guys, give this
Apple.
a 5-star rating, please.
Yes.
Please. We're in Miami. It's a rainy day, but
know,
it's still
horrible.
a blessing to be in Miami, okay? Guys, we got a very
Chief.
special... No problem. Guys, we got a very special guest today, okay? Long-time friend of ours, I would say maybe 15 years. No, close to it.
Yeah, at least.
Wow. 15 years, all right? Friends, business partners. We've been through a lot together. So this is a very special episode for us. We got Nicki Regina, baby.
Round of applause, round of applause, round of applause, round of applause.
Let's
Let's
go.
go, let's go, let's go.
All right?
Let's go.
This guy, for anyone who doesn't know Nicki, all right? I don't know how you don't know Nicki by now. Number one. Number two, this guy's got more energy than the fucking Energizer Bunny, okay?
Yes.
He'll stop and give you 10 at any point. I mean, he really lights up the rooms that he walks into. I love you, Nicki. I'm happy you're here, bro.
Yes. Welcome to the
guys.
show, baby.
And you look good, too.
Yeah.
All right? For our listeners, guys, turn that off and turn it on YouTube right now. You got to see what this guy looks like. He looks good, all right?
It's the
What a
blazer,
stud.
bro. It's the blazer.
What a stud.
You're looking good, bro. I'm happy to have you, man.
Boys, I am absolutely ecstatic to be here right now. I was pumped up doing push-ups last night, talking to Beezy. Beezy was prepping me for it. Went for a heavy jog, took my vitamins, made sure I got some of the vitamins that help with the cognitive function so
Nice.
that I could fire over here.
We call them shrooms.
And all jokes aside though, really, really feeling grateful because what you guys got going on is something magical, is awesome. You guys have worked your asses off to create this platform, and the amount of viewers that watch every episode, the subscribers that you have in the community that you've built is extremely, extremely inspiring. Something that I've said, prior to the cameras coming on, you guys are leading and the pioneers in Ontario, Toronto, for certain that we're all following when it comes to building those platforms and communities. So I want to salute you, tip my hat to you and say thank you. I'm feeling very grateful to be here and being able to address the audience. So yeah, let's get it.
Well, thank you for that.
That
Wow.
means a lot, Nicki,
Yeah.
especially coming from you. You're smashing it right now.
Yeah.
Owner of Spark Financial.
Yes.
Taking over the country of Canada and now the US as well.
Mm-hmm.
You guys made your way to Miami. That's why you're here.
Yes, sir.
We met in Nightlife.
Yeah.
You did as well, right?
Yes.
I was probably like 18 or 19 when I met you.
Yeah.
Maybe even less. Maybe
Yeah.
16, 17.
Yeah. Hey,
Maybe
you got
15,
an
14.
early start.
Right?
You're a cool guy real early.
But you always had that energy, even when I first met you. So let's kind of take it back because in my opinion, your story is super inspiring.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people that know your story to an extent. I got to witness a lot of things that you accomplished in your life. So that was cool. But I want to take it back because I feel like the last maybe 10, 15 years of your life was kind of like a roller coaster.
Yeah.
Right? Ups and downs like everyone else. But the bounce back, the Nicki bounce back was insane. Right? So maybe let's start with Nightlife and how you took over that industry, and we'll take it from there.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. And yeah, so started in the industry at 13 years old as a busboy at the News Cafe. It was a little bar on Dundas. And from my first shift, I fell absolutely in love with it. I just thought it was the coolest scene. My cousin had owned the restaurant with two of his other buddies, and they were just these really cool dudes from Vaughan that had a really awesome network, and they'd have all the club owners come and eat dinner there a lot of times prior to them going to their clubs, opening them up for everyone and rock and roll. And that was the time where like money was around inside, like the poppin' clubs, paparazzi, right? So that was like when Toronto's nightlife scene was at its pinnacle, right? So I was seeing these guys come in with their girls and their buddies, and they were eating, and I would be the busboy firing out of the back, making sure that I was like, you know, hand drying all the glasses so they were shiny, bringing them to the table. It was like I had a dress shirt and a blazer on as I was washing dishes, just because I wanted to make sure like I was showing up pro, you know? Yeah. And that was something that, you know, that it resonated with them. They're like, who's this young guy like coming over here, glass out of the back? Like they knew what was going on. I was trying to be cool and stuff. So they'd always like respect me a lot and throw me some big tips and just like hail me up, which I felt like the coolest guy in the world at 13 years old, right? So anyway, got my start there and worked my way up to bartender. So I started bartending when I was 18. But throughout all of high school, I was still busboying and promoting for all ages companies, right? The one that was famous in Chaminade, the all-boys school we went to, was Supreme Promotions. Yes. So I ran under a couple guys there, like Marco Del Duca, Jay Calabretta, and I was like the runner, like, you know, to bring in the younger crowd. And they evolved me into a promoter. And then got into bartending at 18 years old at Eat My Martini on College Street, which for anyone who knows, it was a poppin' little martini spot. So between that, hockey, the busboying, the promoting, I built up like a pretty decent network, right? And bartended there for 4 years, and on the fourth year, I'd have so many guests all the time come to Eat My Martini, to the point where it was like half the restaurant in there at times were like all my crowd, friends and family, and different packs and different groups. So I was like, yo, I'm gonna try to get back into this promoting thing, but for the over 19 side of things, right? And that's where I started NRG, and the very first party I threw was across the street from that Eat Martini bar, which was called Callisto.
I remember Callisto.
Right?
I was there for a few times.
Yeah, those were shakers, right? So when from the first party, every party we did was like slam, jam. Like you couldn't fit. There was no like build up. We're going to get there. Like we came out of the gates like a bat out of hell, and we just started slamming these joints, right? So from Callisto, we moved to the big jump on College, was Revival. That was the biggest venue.
Big spot, yeah.
So first we jammed the basement of Callisto, then we jammed both floors of Callisto, then we moved to Revival, jammed that, and in a nutshell, right, it was time to move downtown and enter the big leagues, as I was telling it to be to all the promoters that were under NRG at that time, right?
What kind of money though? So okay, so when you're slamming Callisto, then you move to Revival and you're slamming that out, how old are you at that point?
21, 22.
Okay, and how much money are you making off of these parties and?
Yeah, so off of the parties alone, so I was always a full-time tradesman on the side, right? I had an electrical job as well, and that's what was making me my money. And then everything that I would make as a bartender and as a promoter, I would just put back into the business. I would pay my guys very well. I would always be good on marketing and branding, right? And build the equity in the company and the brand, more so than pay myself. But, you know, generally, right, like each party I'd make like a couple grand, you know, and like always like just go over the top with giving it back to the boys or doing something crazier for the next party, or just like buying like 10 bottles for the next party in the first 10 booths, just giving them a free bottle, like always giving back, right? And really trying to build that brand and presence. So yeah, maybe a couple grand every party. Right?
Okay. Yeah, just for context, I'm just curious, like, but I remember even at that point, I was much younger, but the brand, like the NRG brand, was fucking crazy.
It was,
That
it
shit
was a buzz. It was buzzing in the city.
it was buzzing.
Yeah, nice.
It was fucking, dude,
yeah.
it was fucking spray painted and like all over the fucking city. You guys had
Yeah.
that logo everywhere. Okay, so naturally you
You
said
want to
you
hear
had-
about that?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so my dad had the mill workshop.
Yeah.
And me and my brother would CNC the NRG stencil, and then we'd take it at like 2 or 3 in the morning on weeknights in the city, and he'd like hold it up to the wall, and then I'd fucking spray.
That's
and the
amazing.
NRG stencil was like, yes, we tatted the city. We called
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
You guys had a famous spot at
Caledonia.
Dufferin. No,
Caledonia.
Caledonia. It's still there. It's still there, bro. No, but you guys had one, I think, on the corner of Dufferin and Rogers on some guy's fence. Right, buddy. What a fucking ad placement! It was
Bro,
unbelievable.
We went at 2 in the morning. My brother, I was like, dude, we got to put that out and collab on it. He has all the video footage of us loading the 4x4 posts, the
dude.
big sign in the pickup. We had a guy in the pickup and Kevin J holding the sign down, hopping out of the pick. Bro, we dug holes, planted it like it was an
Oh my God.
official, like you. Bro, my buddies used to call me and be like, hey, bro, when you're done with that ad space, let me know how much it is. Oh yeah, bro. The city should hit me up with a heavy invoice for that one.
That's
dude.
crazy.
That was
That was
unreal.
primo. Yeah.
But I want to stop you for a sec because
That's fucking crazy.
you
Cowboy
said
style,
something that's pretty key. You said you were reinvesting a lot of the money back
Yeah.
in,
Oh.
right? Like how did you even know to do that at that time, at that age? Like, and I wouldn't even say you had anyone to really work off of because you were disrupting the industry at that point. Like you were
Yeah.
doing something completely different already,
Right.
right out the gates.
or
So how
did you have somebody that you kind of?
Yeah.
No, so my
that.
my biggest hero, like growing up, and my mentor and my idol when it comes to business and entrepreneurship is my father. And my father always took care of his guys. He always took care of everyone around him. He always made sure everyone was paid, their pockets was full, and they could support their family and their lifestyle. And he was very worried all the time that they like he just wanted to do his best to take care of them. Like he was to the extent where he was worried that they weren't taken care of as well as they should be, you know? And everyone felt that love. Everyone felt that energy. And then what they did in return for him, they were just like the most loyal soldiers ever. Just like whatever you need done, it's done.
Yeah.
And he was able to grow a really successful business off of worrying about other people and what their wants, needs, and desires are out of the goodness of his heart.
Yes.
And those people felt that and they gave back 10x. So when I seen that, first of all, I thought it was so beautiful because that's leading with love. And second off, I was just like, and it works for business.
Yeah.
Fuck, what more do you want than that? You're doing something awesome for someone else, leading with love, and then it kicks ass for your business. So as soon as I did it off of the first party, like make sure the soldiers were taken care of, make sure the experience that I provided wasn't diluted. I went on and I added layers of entertainment that weren't standard in the scene. I was always bending over backwards for the guests, you know what I mean? And it was something that they felt. So not only my staff, but the guests, the venue owners, I would bring espressos for all the security from home and treats for the there's just what like. Who is this guy? Why is he doing this? Like, why is it?
Yeah.
And it just paid in dividends. So once I experienced that myself for the first time, I never stopped. So it's essentially the strategy. You're retaining profits within the corporation. You're not taking a pay or yanking dividends out. You're injecting it back into the corporation and watching it fucking grow.
Yeah.
And you get addicted to that growth, so you don't ever want to tap pay or dividends.
And that's
as
the thing,
weird
but
as it sounds.
It takes only one time of like giving back in that type of way,
Yeah.
and then taking care of your people to realize like, oh, that's the move.
Yeah.
like that's exactly how I need to do it.
Yeah.
right. It can be tough, like because like I want to give both sides to that. There's one beautiful side of you're seeing the growth, sometimes fast, sometimes slow, but your people are taken care of, they're happy and whatever. But I want people to also understand that you take a hit personally as the person at the top in terms of like you said, you're not pulling money out for yourself.
Yeah.
You're not taking dividends. You're eating shit.
Yeah.
You're literally eating shit so your team can eat good.
Right.
With the idea that, hey, 5, 10, 15 years down the line, and whatever that timeline is, you'll also be eating not just good, amazing, but
Yeah.
everyone will. Right.
Yes.
But I think that's the thing about being a leader that people forget. That
Correct.
you got to eat shit so your team can eat. right? And it can grow.
Absolutely,
So,
bro.
okay, cool.
And they see that.
Yeah, of
they
course.
see you take a bullet for them, they'll take 10 for you, bro.
Yeah.
Just that's human instinct, man.
Facts. Yeah, absolutely.
It's powerful.
Okay, so walk us through. So you crush college. You're like, all right, buddy, to the big leagues. Fuck this. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
So what's the next step?
Yeah, so plugged into the downtown scene. And I had built up this story in my head that downtown was like the NHL. And that's how I was preaching it to all the soldiers. Like, no, we got to come like heavy. We got to come like we're rolling deep. We got divisions. We got our own DJs. Like we're yanking like 400 or 500 people a night ourselves, bro. Never mind other hosts or sub promoters. Like this is our fucking show. We're going to make sure that we can ram it. We're not going to be reliant on anyone, you know? And that was our mentality. So when we went down there, we just it took off because it was very shortly after I got downtown that no one else was rocking like that.
Yeah.
And it's not that we were better than anyone. I'm not saying we're better than everyone. Our business model and approach was different. It was very like host driven, and the teams, they were smaller teams that would cap out at like 50. And if you were really good, 100 people. We were swinging in 20, 25 booths, 300, 400, 500 people, like any given night.
That's
so
crazy.
So, and then it was a short period of time after that when I got into the ownership side, because then it's like you could leverage that. Yeah. As soon as you could start to leverage things in business because you understand your value, fucking leverage.
Yeah.
Right. And what I leveraged at that time was just like, okay, I know that the promoters have the club owners in a nutshell by the balls, because it wasn't like you build it and they will come anymore. The times had changed. And it was in favor of the promoter, right?
Yeah.
So if you were able to ram the spot, then you were able to demand not only a good buck, but if you knew how to leverage, you could take on equity of the establishment as well.
Yeah.
So there was club owners lined up that were willing to take us in, but part of the deal was we wanted to become equity partners in the business. And equity partners that would take care of the promotion, the marketing, the talent booking, and the creating of the culture in and around that establishment.
Yeah.
Whereas if the partner that was already there, they would take care of operations, the staffing, the ordering, the booze, the dealing with the lease, and the day-to-day stuff, right?
Yeah.
And both are just as important as one another. But yeah, that's how I got into the club ownership side of things, and that was at 25 years old, right?
So how long were you downtown before that ownership happened?
Yeah, good question. So 2 years.
2 years.
Yeah,
Wow.
I rocked 2 years downtown, and then I got into ownership.
And
I
then
was actually
Did you have to buy in?
No.
You just got in because of the value.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, value exchange through what I brought to the table with the full army, the brand, and
course.
the equity, and blessing that venue with it, and it was offered up. Yeah.
Yeah. So
And
that
like-
was okay. Go ahead.
I know, I'm curious. Okay, so at that time, you're 25. Let's say just prior to stepping into ownership, like you're saying, any given night, 25 booths, 500 people.
Yeah.
Like money-wise, what does that look like?
Yeah. Okay. So that's when the company was really kicking ass, and it was grossing
Yeah.
big dough, because we took on the marketing contracts, the programming contracts, the talent booking, the promotion, right? And even now dealing with the sub promoters, because you're the owner of the club as well. So they would have to, follow under your program, right? And yeah, so at any given point, like NRG was making from $15,000 to $20,000 a week.
Nice.
Yeah, so we
At
were in and
25,
around.
And how big was the team at that point?
We were at the biggest point. We were at 60.
Wow.
We cracked 60 soldiers with 7 different subdivisions. So I used to have an alpha dog in each subdivision. So we had Woodbridge, Maple, Downtown, Richmond Hill, Thornhill. And then I would teach that alpha dog and that head promoter on how to run their little 4 or 5 piece squad.
Okay.
Right. So that's how we'd have like 5, 6 buses pulled outside. Cause I teach them, like, don't be greedy with the money. Treat your soldiers right. Split the bus fare with them, because they used to charge out $20 a head for all the buses.
Yep.
Right.
He was on those. Jay was on
Yeah.
those. That's why.
So I'll do your math for you. It was 50-person buses. These guys used to charge out sometimes $40 a head.
Yeah.
Right. So they're making like a couple grand.
Of course.
Off of those buses, but those buses only cost them $400.
Yeah.
These kids were pocketing $1,600. I'd show them how to spread that love out with their team and how to give back to their VIPs.
Yeah.
And then I would pay them for their buses and their booths. Just some of these kids' parents, I'm not even exaggerating to be funny. They'd call me, be like, What kind of drugs do you have my son selling?
No.
Right? Well, fuck, they're walking home with 3-4 bands a night if they're bringing 2 buses.
Yeah.
And they're fucking 19, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What the fuck's going on?
And then I'd break it down for them, and they'd be so grateful to understand. Well, like, hey, thank you for, like, coaching my son through, this entrepreneurial experience. He's learning a lot. He's making great money. I just wanted to make sure. I said, listen, I never got involved with that side of things, right? So that, and I will make sure that never happens under my watch with your son, because they're still young kids, right? As I was young myself too. But
and then for
it was funny.
Your headspace at that time.
Yeah.
I guess you're making that money. What's going on in your head at that point? Is it okay? I got to take over this industry. What was your mission at that point? Once you saw the money coming in, the leverage, the audience.
So to build a portfolio and a conglomerate of companies that were activated underneath that portfolio that I like to call the verticals.
Yeah.
That will feed into the main hospitality company.
Yes.
So NRG is the main hospitality company. That's the umbrella company. And then all the verticals are the venues, the events, the marketing agency, and those revenues would be shot up to the megacorp, which is NRG Entertainment, right?
Yes.
And so the promotion was one piece. The club ownership was another piece. The marketing agency was another piece. The big scale events were another piece, like Liberty Grand for 7 years in a row. We had the biggest New Year's party in Toronto, 5,000 people. That was an own operating business in itself. True. It was a big scale event. Right? It grossed a lot of money for the portfolio. Yeah. So it was to grow the portfolio and all the companies within it, because that's how you were really going to get your top line revenues up. Because you'll cap out at a venue, at one venue. You're going to cap. Even if you're kicking ass, you're going to cap out.
So much, yeah.
So how is it that you scale, and you scale through that structure?
Okay, and then, so that's where your head's at business-wise. But, dude, to be 25 making that kind of money, I know, like, listen, we know a lot of guys younger now that are making millions a fucking week. But especially for Toronto at that time, being 25, making that much money, and having, like you said, you're calling them your soldiers under you, that many people, like, where is Nick at mentally? Like, how does your lifestyle change? Yeah. What's going on in your head as a person? Forget good business
question.
Now.
Yeah, good question. So I had no life outside of work.
Yeah.
I not that I had lost any of my friends, but I didn't have any time for them. I wasn't spending any time with them. I lived downtown. I bought my first condo cash. I was fucking 25. I literally had it in my sock drawer. And my doorman was a realtor, and he's like, "Hey, bro, like, what are you doing with all this money you're making?" I'm like, "It's literally in my sock drawer, bro." He's like, "All right, I'll help you figure it out." We figured it out for me, right? It was the most seamless process ever. And I bought my first condo at King and Spadina in the Hudson. So it was right across from Bloke and Same, which was right down the street, right? So I was right in the action at 25. The wifey moved in with me, Sophie, at the time. She was my girlfriend. So to go back to your question there, no life other than work. I was balancing the portfolio, but I was immersed in the industry. Whether it was the event, the clubs, the promotion company, the marketing agency, I was very hands-on and involved with all the operations, right? Learned a lot from that now, because as I'm scaling this portfolio, I'm taking away key points that allow me to be away from my business and not have to be fully immersed in it, making all the big decisions and calling all the shots and writing all the checks, right? Yeah. So I learned a lot from it. So I could have been a lot better, but obviously you learn, right? Putting in systems and processes and upper management and overly qualified people for roles. But I was fully immersed in my business. It was something that had totally taken over my life, for sure. Yeah. 20 hours, 18 hours a day, maybe 6-7 hours of sleep, wake up, operate it throughout the day, feet for service there at night. Same thing, day in, day out, 7 days a week.
It's a vicious cycle.
I mean, I remember seeing you like
crazy.
Because when I started working at Bloke, right?
Yeah.
And then we got much closer through that.
Yeah. Through the Bloke, yeah.
And I would be like, bro, like, did you sleep last night? I'd be at your condo the next morning.
Yeah.
Like, dude, you good? But like the work ethic that you had was super inspiring at that point. And like, you were just a machine. Like, you didn't want to, nothing was going to stop you.
Yeah.
Like, that was like, that's what I got from you right away.
Yeah.
So talk about, let's say now Bloke and Same, which were obviously like big moves for you.
Yeah, huge.
For anyone that's not from Toronto, they're very, very good clubs in Toronto. King West, which is like our nightlife area. He had 2 massive clubs on that strip.
Yeah.
You got some Drake shout outs, so that should say enough.
Yeah. It was so Bloke was my first club on King West.
Yes.
My second club that I owned. And it was awesome because a lot of the crowd that hadn't yet graduated to King West and was right on, like that tipping point,
the
that
fence,
edge.
yeah.
I was the guy to bring him over, and we
Cool.
brought him over to Bloke, right? So Bloke hit the ground running 6 days a week.
Yeah.
The only day we were shut down was Tuesdays.
I think that you were the
Sorry,
only
Monday.
You were the
Monday,
only club that was open that much.
6 days a week.
Yeah.
At our best years, we were grossing 5.5 to 6 mil just out of that one club.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And then Same. So what happened with Same? That was a cool story. Johnny Unique, OG, by the way. Love you. I have the most respect for you out there forever. Cobra was the first club I worked at on King West on Fridays. And we kicked ass right up until he shut it down.
Yeah.
But I was a little too young still. And I didn't have the money to buy it. And because he asked me, he's like, Nicky, you want to buy it? And I'm like, oh, John, man, I'm like, this is my favorite club ever. And I'm like, I can't afford it right now. I'm like, but whoever you sell it to, I'm like, if they can't make a go of it, if you'd please give me just the same call you gave me this time around to give me opportunity to buy it, I'd really respect that, man, because I love this club. And he's like, no problem, Nicky, I'll do that for you. Because he holds the lease.
Yes.
And then he sells the business. Right, we'll sublease it to you, which is a brilliant move.
Yep.
And then if you fail with the business, he'll take the lease back and move it into someone else's
Easy.
wheelhouse.
Yeah.
So he makes a lift on the lease,
Crazy.
and then he can even potentially partner in the business if you want him to help you operate,
Yeah.
or you operate it on your own. But if you can't make a go of it and make good on the lease, then he takes it back and finds a new operator.
next person, yeah.
Brilliant, right?
Yeah.
Johnny's a very smart businessman, and it's a good move, right?
Yeah.
So he had the power to do that if the next guys in didn't succeed, right? So
Yeah.
they didn't. The guy called me. He honored what he said. And it's not that I didn't think he was going to because he wasn't a good guy, but when people just say things in passing, no problem, I'll call you. The guy's so busy. He's got so many things going on. Who knows if he's going to remember that? He called me, bro. And it was like 4 or 5 months after I opened Bloke. So remember, I still have Gravity, just opened Bloke, 6 days a week. We're going hard. Johnny Unique calls me with my favorite club and honored what he said. He goes, hey, Nicky. Goes, boys couldn't make a go of it. You want it? Right? Just like that. He goes, or else I'm going to put it on the open market. I'm going to put the word out there and let everyone know, right? And there was a couple guys that really wanted it, right? Like, it's a cool spot. And I was like, yeah, absolutely, John, right? And he's like, okay, this is what I need tomorrow in cash for the deposit.
Holy
I
fuck,
was like,
just like that?
A real
I was like, yeah, just like that, quick. Right? I was like, all right, cool. I hung up the phone. And long story short, man, we delivered. We wrapped up money up in a bag, went to go see him, dropped the deposit, made the move. So now I took on Same, where Bloke was full steam, and then we were on our last month or two at Gravity.
Okay.
So we shut that down, and then boom, Same came, and that's when we turned West into Same.
Yeah.
So then I had Bloke and Same at the same time.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
That's when things
Yeah.
were going crazy.
Yeah.
For
Wow,
context,
both
for
were
anyone
pretty slam.
for anyone listening, like when you take over a venue, because you pretty much revamped every venue that you took over,
Yeah. Yeah.
especially Same
Yeah.
had to be. How much money goes into that?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the square footage and how high end you want to go with the finishes. Like, you look at some club owners and like they just dial it in every square inch. They go like ultra high end. Like you look at like the Ink venues, for instance.
Yes.
That guy just dials it in, right?
Yeah.
He takes on big spots. So you could blow your load, and it depends on what you're spending per square foot. But every venue that I took on was generally within 3,000 to 5,000 square feet, maybe a little bit bigger at some points, depending on what we did with the layout and how much room we left for back of house. But essentially, like up to $500,000 easily. Right, you got to pump $500,000 into them. Yeah. To get, listen, you're gonna do the rebrand. You're gonna bring in new furniture. You're gonna, redo the bars, relocate the DJ booth. You got to create that wow factor because it's the next coolest, hottest nightclub that's gonna open up, and you want to make sure that you've done right by the customers and the promoters that are gonna be putting their names behind it. So yeah, easily.
So you're saying at least,
and that's low end, bro. Guys go
of
way.
course.
I was gonna
hard.
say, you're saying for
and
you,
that was back in the day too. Like,
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're saying for you, in that time, what year, what sort of years are we talking?
Yeah, you're at 2011, 2012, 2013.
So for you in that era, 2010 to like maybe 12, 13, 14, at least $500K
At
cash to
Yeah.
open a club.
At least.
And then how long is it taking to get the return on the investment?
Yeah, well, fuck, man. Bloke took a few months.
That's
Amazing.
fucking beautiful.
It's a risk, but
Yeah.
like you said, you plan it out well. You put the money into it. Like this is another question I have. Like you mentioned how much you were grossing, but how much were you spending?
Yeah. So,
right? Because you would spend, right?
Great answer. At any given point in time, what our goals were to operate between 20 and 30% bottom line. And that was good for that industry,
Yeah.
right? Because usually the margins are razor thin, right?
Yeah.
And it's easy to lose money and bleed out in areas. And as rents were coming up and promoters were demanding more money, that variable cost shot things up through the roof.
Of course.
With talent and promoters, right? And paid to party girls, which were big at that time, were never expenses prior. Club owners didn't have to pay promoters in the early 2000s, late 90s. They didn't have to pay paid to party girls. They didn't have to pay talent. You literally build a nice venue. You were slammed and the spend per heads were there.
Yes.
And that was net, right? So as rents continued to raise and more variable costs came on to the spreadsheets, it became thinner and thinner in regards to the margin. But that was always our goal, was to stay in between 20 and 30%.
And would you say at that point, when now Same's running full steam, Bloke's running full steam, would you say that's the pinnacle, the peak of NRG and your hospitality?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because at that point we had New Year's Eve countdown.
Yes.
We were slamming that every year, 5,000.
Yeah.
We even had the 2 clubs in Miami.
I remember.
Yes.
Thrift Shop and SQL. Well, we had Bloke and Same.
Yeah.
Right? And then we had the Monster Mash Halloween party. That always did pretty decent every year. But that was the pinnacle.
And what would you say NRG is grossing at that point annually?
I'd say annually, probably around $1 million though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably
Yeah.
around $1 million, 800 to $1 million, because then you put your club owner hat on and you want to make sure that you're protecting that bottom line.
Yeah.
So you're not being as generous to the promotional arm as you were once upon a time, because you're letting your partners and other, people that you're working with on the venue side of things eat and see upside as well. Because then you just look like you're just greedy at that point.
Yeah.
If you're just trying to make one side win because you own majority shares on the promotional side and you're sucking the other side dry. So I'd lower my costs on that, or keep them decent where they should be, maybe a little lower.
True.
And then let the venue eat too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember you had you were one of the first clubs that I saw booking talent, a lot of talent.
Yeah.
Just huge names.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you remember the most expensive talent that you booked?
Yeah. Drake.
$1 million.
Yeah.
$1 million.
1.15.
For how long?
150.
For how long did you have him?
One show.
One show.
Yeah. Half an hour per set. Yeah.
Legendary.
Yeah. 2 million.
What a guy, bro. What a fucking beauty, bro. Jesus Christ, bro.
Yeah.
So talk about when you booked Drake. That's actually huge.
That was a fucking movie, bro.
And that was actually not in one of your venues. That was a special event.
No, yeah. So shout out Charlie on that, and Chubbs. Chubbs and Charlie were the ones that facilitated that. I used to host a lot of the OVO boys at Bloke all the time. Built a really deep connection with them through Charlie.
Yeah.
Right. And had it be that, the relationship was growing and they're building, and I'd always have their bag proper when they'd roll in. I'd always make sure to take very good care of them. I would never say no, because I understood what they were doing for the city, how they were putting Toronto on the map on a global scale.
Yeah.
But I appreciated that. I didn't just understand it, I appreciated it. And I said, this is good for our culture. This is great for nightlife. This is amazing for hospitality. You got to respect that. So I'd always make sure, again, to pay their wages when they were coming by and appearing. Did a lot of appearance with the OVO guys, Chubbs mostly. Charlie was on the decks at arguably the most notorious night for hip hop in the city, Bloke Sundays, right? At some point in time.
What a time that was.
Yeah,
those were
wild,
those
right?
were crazy, bro.
Yeah, so bro, there was big names in the building that would be popping off every week, bro. There was it was star studded. If you were in the city and you were A caliber talent, you were at Bloke Sundays and you were going off, bro. It was crazy the people that would walk through the doors. So that's how I got in with the OVO crew. And I shot it out there. I'll never forget the day I shot it out at Chubbs. I'm like, yo, let's do a show with Drake. And he's like, all right. He's like, what's the bag look like?
Yeah, of course.
I just shot it out there at him, bro. Shot it out a mill. It was done. Just like that, bro. Yeah.
So he asked
and then I got in contact with he put me in contact with Future the Prince.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, and then we fine-tuned the deal, obviously.
course.
There was a lot more to it. And Future the Prince is a fucking brilliant businessman. I really admire him. Chubbs was awesome for connecting the dot and putting me right to the top, right? As that's Drake's manager. And
Yeah.
he leans on him for a lot of his business advice, right? So Future was an excellent business person to deal with, and made sure that the transition and the booking was smooth, and that we got it done, right? So yeah, I fine-tuned the deal with the venue owner, which was Carlo at the time. We were doing pop-up shows called the Puer Noir.
Yeah.
So they were these really extravagant supper club dinner experience that would turn into a cabaret style show.
Yeah.
And we had, David Blaine, we had Jennifer Hudson,
Crazy.
we'd have Bob Saget host it. We had celebrity chefs cook you the meals, and then Drake was the finale, right? So yeah, Future and Carlo worked out the deal, right? They fine-tuned it. It came just in over $1 million, right? Carlo went public about that and told everyone. So it's no
did he?
secret.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
made the paper on it. And in a nutshell, we got it done, bro. A lot of moving parts with it though, man. Like Drake was the biggest artist in the world at that time.
Yeah.
So you're booking the fucking Rolling Stones of your time.
Yep. Yeah.
And the amount of moving parts that came with that, because we had to even fly under the radar as a private event because Live Nation had exclusivity, right?
True.
Holy smokes, bro. But when
Wow.
he and there was so much hype and anticipation leading up to the day that he posted the flyer on his story. I remember being in the Leisure Den office. Like within minutes, the phones were just ringing. And there was like 4 or 5 people just like
Going
Because
crazy.
it hadn't been done before. I don't think it's
Never.
been done since.
that first
either.
time he was ever in Vaughan and first time he ever did a private event like that. That was sold to the public on the low key.
Yeah.
But the thing is, he was
that big.
But he was popping out to your clubs regardless.
Yeah,
outside
pulling
of
up.
that.
Yeah. Drake was pulling up.
Yeah.
Like I'd dab him up. I was going out on tour with Charlie and the OVO guys and dab each other up. Hey, what's up? Shake his hand. And then
Yeah.
That's it though, right? Very simple. But he knew who I was.
Yeah.
I again respected like crazy what he was doing. But I always hung with the crew. I always made sure I took care of them because he's a very busy guy, and I'm sure a lot of people want to get in his face and talk to him directly. But you got to understand the chain of command, and you got to respect it.
Yes.
So it's not that I ever had any conversation or business dealings or a relationship with Drake. Dab him up and then take care of his crew because his crew took care of him. So
Yeah.
I'd always deal with Chubbs, Future, Charlie. Yeah.
But I want to know. So, because this is like a lot, by the way, like College Street, leaving your job as a tradesman, building this company, 15, 20K a fucking week, millions of dollars, venues, all this shit we're talking about, which
Yeah.
is like, it's all super impressive. Like how, like, I want to know, like, what's the dark side of it? Because
Yeah.
to every business, there is a dark side. Everything
Yeah.
that even what we do,
Yeah.
right? And I know Nightlife, it like feels very like flashy and like, ooh, fun, lights, cameras, whoa, like
Yeah.
bottles, fucking sparklers. Like it's the coolest thing, right? From the outside. But I know that on the inside, as many times as there are great and amazing days, there's all the bullshit that comes with it too.
Yeah.
Right. So for you, someone who was so successful in that industry, I want to know what you like how it was for you and what maybe were the cons or the negatives of building something that big in that industry.
Yeah. Great question. Okay. So no matter which way you twist it or turn it, that industry draws in egotistical characters, right?
Yeah.
And whenever you're dealing with that, right, and they're in it for it, those are all the wrong reasons. The drugs, the women, the alcohol,
Yeah.
the let's walk out of the car and walk into the club like fucking Richard Grieco from the Night in
Yep.
the Rockstar. Like
Yeah.
everyone's got that image in their head.
Yes,
They
yeah.
want the Lambo door to come up.
Yeah.
They want the spotlight to be put on them.
Yep.
They want some piece of fucking ass holding their arm.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they want to walk through the club door like my shit don't stink. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
It's
that's
true, yeah.
that's that, bro.
Yeah.
That's what draws a lot of people to that industry. So what comes with that is a lot of bad energy.
Yeah.
Right. And if you're surrounded by that on an ongoing basis, it's very draining
Yeah.
and it brings down your vibration. And when you get into the drugs and you get into the alcohol, you get into the lifestyle, it's very dark. No matter how much money you're making, no matter how well you're known, no matter how successful your businesses are, no matter how cool it is you think you are, you're fucking, you're going through it.
Yeah.
And you're going through a tough time, right? And that was something that, you know, was very, very, very tough to deal with on an ongoing basis, because it's not who I was when I originally got into the business. I was someone totally different than when I was at the end of the line in the business, and who I'd become, I didn't recognize anymore. I didn't respect anymore. I didn't love anymore. Right. And that's what essentially drove me out of the business. Right. Number one reason being I wanted to be an awesome dad and the best version of a dad that I can be to my kids. But number two was I got to a point where I didn't respect myself. I didn't love myself. I was not happy. I was not balanced. I was not balanced. And it was extremely frustrating and challenging, to say the least.
At what point did things start to go maybe darker for you? Because even from the outside, like, no one would have known. Right? Because you're one of those guys that you're always happy. You're always energetic.
Sure.
So no one's gonna look at you and be like, oh, maybe Nick's going through something. They just thought you were like the god at that time.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So behind the scenes, what started happening?
So this is it's so cool, and that this has come full circle like this, because, and I want to tie it into this, but my life coach Sarek Fatah, I always knew of him and idolized what he did in the business, but I never had a relationship with him or did business with him, because he was always a little older than me, right? But I had looked up to him in a big way, and he had transitioned out of nightlife. And I was a fucking big fan of Money Buys Happiness. And I, like I said earlier to the cameras coming on, I was just listening and I was watching and I was loving everything you guys were doing. Full episode watches, boys. I was clocking in the minutes, all right?
Thank you, bro.
Got your subs and I got your likes on every fucking episode. But Zarek, when I heard him speak on your podcast, it just reached out to me and it touched me in a way that it saved my life. It literally was.
This was about 3 years ago.
It was a part of pulling me out of the rut. But now, to go back to your question, the wheel of life that you learn from Coach, that's the foundation, and all the spokes on the wheel is what you have to tend to on an ongoing basis to make sure that you're doing as much as you could be doing to stay balanced and loving yourself. First, you got to love yourself, and then you can love everyone around you and do right by them, right? But if you don't love and respect yourself, then you can't put out that good energy and that love and that time for everyone else that you want to, right? Because as human beings, naturally, we're selfless, and you just always want to give. But if you're not giving to yourself first, you don't have nothing to give to anyone else. So in a nutshell, I was very unbalanced, right? And it really started to hit me in 2016, 2017. And I really started to feel the effects of, I don't have a strong connection and relationship with my family anymore. And I'm all about the family values. And I've drawn, like, I haven't seen my nonna other than like some big family occasions. I don't see her. I don't see my mom and dad. I don't have a relationship with my brother anymore since he got out of the business. Like, you know, if I don't see Jade doing bottle service, like, I'm not calling her to ask her how she's doing. I'm not chilling with her. You know what I mean? Or my friends, I'm like, bro, I got a lot of OG, like day one OG homies that, like, it's like, where's Nikki? Why isn't he at these events? Why? And they weren't hating. They're my boys. They weren't hating, but they felt like they missed me. And that hurt them. And then that hurt me that it hurt them. And I was like, I looked at who my friends were, and I was like, no, you know? And then spirituality, what the fuck is that? I couldn't remember the last time I went for church unless I had to go for some skinny confirmation or something like that, you know? Because I had to be there, right? All strung out. But then you look at, you know, like recreation and fun. And it's just like, but what am I doing? I'm not even playing puck anymore. I love hockey, bro. I play hockey my whole life. Why am I playing puck? I'm not even pumping steel. I'm not at the gym. I'm not running. I'm not even doing anything when it comes to that. Again, you go on to the other spokes. I was doing nothing but just career and wealth, you know? And I was so unbalanced that it was sad. It was bad. So that's one part. And then the second part, and they'll both fight for first, it's not one's taking over the other, but is when you're an all or nothing character and whatever you put your mind to, you fucking put it into 6th gear and pin it and just go. whatever you do, you're gonna have that attitude about. So if you focus yourself in the wrong areas, right, with drugs, with alcohol, then you're gonna be good at that too.
You're gonna go,
I was good at drugs. So anyway, like you look at that and you say, okay, well, that was how we self-medicated. That was how we chilled. You'd go so hard for 18, 19 hours a day, every day, 6, 7 days a week. How are you releasing? How are you enjoying yourself? I wasn't going to the gym. I wasn't getting massages. I wasn't dieting properly. I wasn't doing things self-care. I was doing that. That's how it's self-medicate, right?
Yeah.
To just calm down or blow off some steam or forget about whatever I had to. Instant gratification for a very short period of time. So you layer that in, and then you start building a tolerance up for that stuff. And then you start doing it more regularly because you're out at the clubs all the time. And then it's just a fucking downward spiral, bro.
Yeah.
And then it's boom, rock bottom.
Yeah.
Rock bottom, bro. Like it didn't get more bottomed out.
I think people don't realize, like, when you say drugs, like, you think of all these crazy drugs, right? Cocaine, heroin, crack, whatever. But I look at alcohol as a drug.
Oof, that was the gateway.
And that is the
one.
it's the in my eyes, it's the most lethal one.
Yeah.
Because it's always alcohol first.
Yeah.
And that's gonna lead you to make fucking brutal decisions.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then that's where you're maybe trying drugs, or you're doing this, you're out till fucking 7 a.m. and all of a sudden you're making this bad decision. You fucking spent all your paycheck on a fucking whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I always feel like it's so downplayed because society is like, alcohol is just like, yeah, we can kick back, have a glass of wine, you know, whatever. Like, you know, it's fucking the advertising. They do great advertising. I gotta say that.
Yeah.
But it fucking can really ruin some people's lives if you don't have the balance,
100%.
right? Not to say that you can't be recreational and do things every once in a while, whatever. Like, I'm not going to be a hypocrite and say, oh, you can't do that. But I think it's one of the most dangerous, I'll say, drugs out there. If not the most dangerous.
You get in a cycle, you know. You just get in a cycle, and that's nightlife in a nutshell.
Yeah.
You know, obviously smaller scale, we were promoters, and I got to work with you a lot too. Yeah. But like, there was times too where I was like, I'm doing everything in life for other people.
Yeah.
Like, that was your everyday.
Yeah.
You're waking up and you're like, how can I make other people happy?
Yeah.
Tonight or tomorrow or at this event.
Yeah. And you were big. Like, you were the most popular guy in the city.
Yeah,
probably
but even
still are.
Even with
when
that,
you were in that space, everyone wanted Ernesto. Everyone was calling Ernesto to go get him at the front. Yeah. Everyone was like, Ernesto's got the hookup. Ernesto. And that's all you'd hear.
Yeah.
You were dominating. It was like, holy fuck.
Again,
bro.
I was doing sort of the same thing where I didn't care about anything else. You know, I was at again, smaller scale because I had no ownership of clubs or anything like that. So obviously that's a huge stress added on to you being an owner, right? But yeah, there's times where you go to a club, you have to work, and you know, people just expect you to have that smile on your face.
Yeah.
Because you asked them to come and now you have to host them.
Yeah.
Right? So there is that vicious cycle, and then you're like, okay, I got through this weekend.
Yeah.
Okay, now we got to worry about next weekend.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I tip my hat to you for that, because it's an industry where you gotta fake a smile as much as you can.
A lot of times.
Right?
A lot of times.
I want to know.
And even getting out of it, like getting out of nightlife, which we're gonna talk about too, is like, it feels impossible. It feels like I can never get out. How am I gonna get out? All the people that you're gonna let down, all the stuff, the career that you already built, the brands, the venues.
Yeah.
To look at it and say like, oh, I'm gonna exit the industry.
Yeah.
It feels impossible. As a promoter, it felt impossible.
Yeah.
As a promoter, I'm like, I'm probably never gonna. This is just what it is.
Well, because the money's
so good.
Yeah.
You see the growth, even though you see the growth in your business as you see the decline in your self-care.
Yeah. Well, it also looks like an easy job, right? It's like, oh, that's easy, bro. All you gotta do is go to the club and drink and bring people out. Like,
But for example, you're there 6 times a week, right? People get that you're there 6 times a week, but they don't know that when they see you on the Friday, the Thursday night, you were out drinking and smoking and whatever you had to do to just be there, you know?
Yeah.
And then the next day they see you, they're like, hey, come on, let's have a shot.
Yeah.
What are you gonna say? No?
Yeah.
You're gonna say, why am I here?
Yeah.
Right?
But I
it's
wanna,
vicious, dude.
It's crazy.
I want to ask you, you say things hit rock bottom. Was there a specific time, a certain scenario, something that happened where you said, okay, like this is rock bottom and now I'm fucking changing everything?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Talk to us about it.
Yeah. Okay. So at one point in time, I remember my nana had passed. This is the first time I'm telling this story. And I had went out the night before her viewing, and I had gotten absolutely rocked. And I was at her coffin, and I loved my nana. I had a great relationship with her. She was such a sweet soul, but she understood me. My nana, out of a lot, she just understood me, and she had respect for who I was, and she wasn't, she was so supportive, right? So I remember looking down at her, and I was just really feeling it from the night before, and I was just like, man, this is fucking low, man.
Yeah.
Like, why the fuck aren't I here with my full attention and, being mindful of something so dramatic that just happened that I should be mourning and taking in and concentrating on, you know? And I'm here blasted out of my mind, And I was just like, no, it's got to change, right? And it was that moment, and then things started to turn around, right? Things started to turn around because I started just like really taking a bird's eye view on things and had a different perspective, and saying like, this has gotten out of hand, right? I don't have control of this anymore, and I need to tend to this. I need to really, really allocate some time, effort, and love to myself on getting better here, because this is not acceptable, right?
So what was the play there? What was the first few things you did to kind of make that change? Because I think anybody listening, whether you're in the nightlife industry or you find yourself being a person, because we have a lot of young men that listen to us, and we've all been young men at one point and found ourselves, like I said, whether you're in the business or not in the business, but you're there every weekend, you're kind of trying to say, how the fuck do I get out of this vicious circle? Yeah. So what was it for you?
Yeah. So rewind time a little bit, right? And this is also the first time that I'm saying this to the public, because I don't speak on it. But I went to rehab, and I went to rehab for drugs and alcohol, right? And in that rehab, I picked up a lot of tools, and I learned a lot of things on how to, deal with the addictions, right? And in rehab, I was dialed in, and I was all or nothing, right? So I understood how to diet properly. I really got my workout routine back in. I lost a bunch of weight. I was looking cut up again. Everything was firing. I was full cylinders, go. Came out, started ripping it again in the scene, building onto the portfolio, raising the top line revenue. It was really bouncing and moving and shaking and bouncing and doing a good job, better than I'd ever done before. So it was like, holy smokes, right? The bounce back version 1, this is version 2, right? Yeah. But then it's a very slippery slope back. And if you continue to stay surrounded with that physical environment and those people, it's only a matter of time till you get back into your old ways. Yeah. But relapse is actually a part of recovery, because what happens, and what happened to me, I won't speak on anyone else but me, is that your ego gets in the way, and it's like, oh, you got this, man. Look, you lost all the weight again. You're making better decisions as you ever were before. Your portfolio's making more money. You got this by the balls. You can enjoy a drink and a glass of wine at dinner. You could have a smoke when it is you feel like here and there. You could go and chill out and really make the decision, because you got this under control. Yeah. What addiction? Not you, bro. You're the fucking man. You know what I mean? Back down the slippery slope. It's a very short period of time until you're right back in to that bad place that you once were, plus some, and it gets a little worse. And then, it's a vicious cycle. So then you realize that. When I realized that, was that, the one situation there with my nana was just like, oh, it got that bad again. Yeah. And I got to look in the mirror and say, you got to put in the work again, and you got to surrender finally to these addictions and say, no, you can't handle them in moderation. And that's it, man. That's when I surrendered. I remember at night in my bedroom, I fell to my knees and I was crying. I was just crying like I was crazy, like just water gushing off my face. And I looked up and I said, whoever you are, whatever you are, if you're there, I need help. I can't do this alone. But I'm ready to surrender and follow your lead, right? Yeah. And I had felt something really come into me and just lighten me up right then and there, like some like a little lightning strike hit me, right? And just like a little volt passed through me, right? It was just like, whoa. And from that day on, is when things just started to fall into my lap, right? I was praying every day, and I had really started to believe again in the spiritual side of things, and things started to fall into my lap. And the one biggest thing that fell into my lap, and I'm not saying this, no shit, because we're on this fucking podcast right now, but I was watching what you guys were doing, and I was loving it. And I always admired your hustle. I'd always admire what you boys did. I thought you guys were the coolest guys and the youngest guys in the game that were doing it better than I was. And I admired that, and I was following and listening and watching. But that episode that you had with Coach, I remember late night, it'd be like 2, 3 in the morning, because it was still my old routine, still bad schedule, and, you know, just dabbling with things a little here and there. I wasn't fully out yet, right? Mm-hmm. You sat down with Coach Zarek.
Yeah.
And that episode, right after that episode, the next day I DM'd him.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
And then we hooked up, and then that changed my life, because I just, like everything, I went all or nothing with his program, and till today, right? Almost 3 years later, he's coaching me. I've went to his retreats. I've done his version 1, version 2. I'm boys with all the alpha boys in the program. I was on the phone with him before I came here.
Yeah.
He says to say what's up, you know?
Yeah.
And yeah, man. So that really was the biggest move that changed my life. He showed me something and guided me through it, and was there in support of it. But this podcast changed my life.
Yeah.
Damn. Wait, no, hold on. No, I gotta say
that was the rock.
beautiful.
That's probably the best thing anyone's ever said to us, bro.
Yeah.
Straight up, because we never did this for anything. Was never about money. It was never about anything. It was just because we love to do it and hope that it could change someone's life, even one person. So to hear that, bro, and to hear that from somebody that we both look up to in so many ways, dude, thank you. That means a lot, bro.
And it's crazy, because it's like we would have never thought you were even watching.
We had no idea. No
right?
idea.
So it just goes to show, right? Like putting things out there and who's listening.
Yeah.
You know, it's beautiful.
Yeah. Full episode watches. And when you texted me that yesterday, the rise of Nikki, the fall of Nikki, and the rise of Nikki, I got a little choked up.
Yeah.
I said he doesn't even know that. You know, I've said it before a few times, but I said I'm gonna go deeper with him on the pod, that the rise again started with MBH.
Amazing.
Dude,
that's beautiful.
I fucking love that.
Straight up.
I love that, man. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, of course.
My God.
Yes,
Thank you.
Of course.
Dude.
Yeah.
Man. Fucking getting me, dude. You're getting me emotional, bro. I swear to God, man, because bro, we do not do this for anything other than that reason, hoping, you know, and people, and like I said, we get DMs all the time, like, you guys don't know how much you've changed my life, and so, you know, which we're appreciative of all of those things. But like I said, to hear from somebody like you, who I personally look up to, I know he does as well. Like, dude, like I have no words for it. It's fucking.
I'll forever be indebted to you boys.
Right back at you, though, straight up. Okay, so I have a question. What did you really learn about yourself mostly during that time of kind of, let's say, the rehab, the relapse, and then figuring it out finally, talking to Coach? What did you learn most about yourself?
That I'm a good guy.
Yeah.
And I was always a good guy, and my intentions were always amazing, and I always wanted to love everyone and do right by everyone. But first I had to look after myself, and it was okay to be a little selfish.
Yes.
Because I had to give back. I had to, you know, indulge myself with self-love.
Yeah.
And I had to make sure that I was taken care of, you know, before I could continue to take care of everyone else.
Yeah.
And part of that, you know, was getting rid of the old lifestyle and bringing on a new one.
Yeah.
So developing new habits and having discipline to stick by them.
Yeah.
And to stay consistent with them, and to, you know, not beat myself up about the past and things that I weren't too proud of doing, because there was a lot of times that I was beating myself up, and I was not proud of what I did.
Yeah.
And that kept me down. But, you know, to forgive yourself, not to forget, but to forgive, and to understand that those were lessons, and it's okay. We're all human.
Yeah.
And deep down, you're a good guy, right? And you always meant well, and you always want to lead with love, and you're always looking after someone. Give yourself, you know, some acknowledgement, pat yourself on the back. Know that that's who you truly are, right?
Yeah.
But we're just spiritual beings having a human experience here.
Of course.
We make mistakes.
I think,
you know
I
what I
think
mean?
that's
So.
But I think that's important. I want to touch on that a little bit quickly, because, like you said, like it's so cool you're saying that. Like, the one thing I realized was that I was just a good guy. Like, I'm just a good guy at heart. I think a lot of us are.
Yeah.
And I think what people need to realize is sometimes when people hurt you, it's not because they did it with intention to hurt you. It's because they didn't love themselves. Like, the decisions they were making Like, so decisions you were making that were hurting the people around you, you weren't trying to hurt the people around you. Those are probably the people you love the most.
Yeah.
But you were making those decisions because you didn't love yourself.
Yeah.
You loved them so much,
Yeah.
but you didn't love yourself. And that
Yeah.
caused you to make shitty decisions that may have hurt them.
100%.
So I
You nailed it.
I think that's important. People need to realize that the people you love are going to hurt you sometimes, and you'll know obviously when there's intention and when there's not. But I think a lot of the times it's not done with intention. It's done because, like you said, they just don't love themselves, and they're making shitty decisions to try to mask over certain feelings they have about who they are.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
You couldn't have said it better.
Call me coach.
That's exactly what it is, coach. Coach
But it's a big point because it's like his question is, what did you learn about yourself? And we've asked people that before, and there's always this crazy long answer and all these little spiritual, but you put it in the most simple way that it's I know who I am. I know I'm a good dude.
Yeah.
I'm just making bad decisions right now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It takes just one flip.
Yeah.
And I'm back to who I know I am.
Yeah.
And
Right?
also another thing too is like the environment that you're in, which we spoke about this too, like a bunch of times, right? Where it's like, yeah, you could be a great guy, but the environment you're in can change it.
Yeah.
Right. And we're talking about like, it must have been hard for you to say goodbye to the nightlife industry because you built a fucking corporation,
Yeah.
And for you to say like bye to that, it takes a lot. It takes rock bottom.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
maybe talk a little bit about how you got over that hump because you
Yeah.
put your whole life into NRG at that point.
Yeah.
And was there a because I just want to give context because obviously now Spark, everyone knows you, they know Spark.
Yeah.
Right. So was there an in-between moment of you kind of taking a step back from business as a whole, or was the transition right away from leaving NRG and the nightlife and starting Spark? Like what was that in-between process?
Love these questions. You guys are the best hosts ever. So the way you got it is amazing. I got to take notes, man. My podcasts are shit.
Dude,
bro.
we're like 300 episodes deep, If we don't know how to host by now, we're in trouble.
Okay, so to answer that question, no break in between. Okay, because I had 3 little mouse to feed at home, 2 little mouse to feed and a pregnant wife, right? So no break. I had to dive fully into my next industry right away.
Yeah.
And then to go to your point, was it hard? It was fucking the hardest thing I've ever had to do in my life.
Yeah.
Right? Because the portfolio at any given point in time, again, was grossing 15, 16, 17, 18 mil a year. It became easy. Not in the point where it wasn't hard work, but it's like everyone was pulling up to the clubs.
Yeah.
If we threw an event, we were ramming it.
Yeah.
If we were putting out a program in one of the clubs, put in some good time and it was making money. Like I was getting paid amazing. We were taking some heavy dividends from the clubs.
It was in cruise control finally.
It was cruise control and I built a name for myself.
Yeah.
So there was other offers coming in all the time too to like consult on things or hop on projects and partner or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
So it was almost like it came easy. But what was the biggest factor of me getting out was I wanted to be the best possible version of a father that I could potentially be. And with weekends being gone, evenings and special events is when that industry lights up. That was my time at home with my kids. In my opinion, the best thing that you could provide with your kids is just simply your presence.
Yeah.
Time.
You being there. And time.
Which anyone listening
So-
now, they see that presence now
Right.
with your online and what you showcase, right? When you're with your kids.
That's right. You have to. In my opinion, I have to. Because if I don't, then they're not going to have that father figure, right, around the way that I want them to have. And that I know that I can embed certain values in them just by simply being there with them and leading by example, right?
Yeah.
So if I couldn't be there for them in the evenings, the weekends, and special events, then it was a no-no.
Yeah.
So the decision was easy. The transition was hard.
It was tough.
Yeah, the decision was a no-brainer. I'm like, oh, fuck. I got to get the fuck out of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm doing pretty good. But it was a blessing in disguise because of everything that happened. But yeah. So, it was extremely tough to get out.
But when you make now when we say transition, let's speak to it from a business perspective.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have this portfolio.
Yeah.
What do? Do you sell it off? Do you just shut her down? Like
Yeah.
what does that play look like?
Yeah, so full year exit strategy 2019, letting all my partners know in the every existing business that I was getting out of the business. So for them to buy back my shares and for me to exit. And then because I was so involved in all the projects, you just simply can't throw your hands up in the air and leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to kind of leave things to people and go over what it is you were doing and make introductions and
Well, it's
have
'cause you're a
that
nice guy.
transitional process. I guess so.
Yeah, it's because you're a good
I
guy.
guess so.
Because people do just fucking
Just
throw their hands and say
fuck
fuck
off.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True. No, but here's the thing. I wanted to leave with my head up high.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's like with all that hard work and all that effort and all that love and all that care I put into those partnerships and those businesses, why would I want to shit on that on my way out?
Yeah, burn bridges.
And even
yeah.
if things weren't the greatest with all those relationships, you still got to cross the finish line strong.
Yeah.
And go out like a class act.
Yeah.
As much as a class act as you can, you know? And that's just the way I look at it. So that's what I did, right?
Yeah.
And so 2020, New Year's Eve, Liberty Grand was my last party officially in the industry. Yeah.
Wow.
And after that, it was Spark.
Well, I'll say congratulations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Straight up. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And then now going into Spark, I know it's probably a very long story, but give us how the fuck the idea even came to be.
Yeah.
Like how
the
this
industry that you chose,
the industry
everything.
you chose, because
Yeah.
I think it again, what a switch up.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
So
yeah.
why that industry? How Spark came to be? I know you. Correct me if I'm wrong. You kind of found it with Michael.
Yeah.
Yeah. So walk
Yeah.
us through kind of that whole.
Okay, yeah,
process.
exactly. So with Mikey, who's my back-to-back 50-50 partner on the new portfolio, he was being groomed to take over everything when I was making my exit. And when I told him the news, I'm like, hey man, like I'm boogieing. Like he was my right hand at the time. And I was like, I'm boogieing, like I'm gonna, leave a lot with you. You're gonna run the show, right? I had started passing off the reins and energy and everything. And he's just like, yeah, man, like I want to come with you, though. Like, bro. Like, remember, he's a lot younger, right?
Yeah.
So like this nightlife thing is still really cool for him,
Yeah.
Like at that age, I'd be like, oh man, this is an amazing opportunity. And he's like, I want to come with. I'm like, nah, bro, I'm going to do some corporate shit. I think, like, what do you mean? He's like, yeah, wherever you go, I want to roll.
Yeah.
And I was just like, all right,
yeah.
cool. So that showed me like his loyalty to me. Like he believed in me. He believed in what I was gonna do. He didn't care as much for the industry as he did me. And I felt that to be extremely unique. And he was the only one that did that with me. And I was like, all right, cool. Then I'll make you a promise. I'm bringing you in as my 50-50 on everything. And bro, we're gonna work our asses off. We're gonna put our heads down. We're gonna grind. It's not gonna be easy. But I've seen you put in the work with me here already. So like, cool, let's go. And yeah, that's how that happened.
Okay.
So he knew he was getting out with me. And then starting off in the industry. So I always believed in real estate because no matter what sector or what industry that you're making a beating in, right? All the wealthiest people in the world are always investing in real estate and they're growing their real wealth through equity appreciation, right? And scaling a portfolio. And that's what's creating that residual income and helping them build their wealth through the equity. So I was like, I was doing that too. As I was making a lot of profits in the nightlife, when I did have some left over, I was investing in real estate, right? So it was something that I knew was the real estate industry, but because all the promoters that were getting out of the industry were becoming realtors, right? I didn't want to go compete with all the people that used to work for my clubs and that I had a great relationship with. I wanted to continue to serve them.
Yeah.
So I got into the finance.
Yeah.
He's like, yo, you need a mortgage? Bro?
But it's calculated.
For your
No, that's smart, yeah.
So, and the mortgage piece was a lot less sexy.
Yeah.
It
Way
was
less
sexy to get into real estate.
Yeah,
bro.
I don't understand that.
Yeah.
Because selling money is fucking sexy,
Yeah.
if you ask me, right?
So is that how
Yeah.
you were looking at it? Like, I want to make this sexy?
I'm gonna sell money, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's sexier than that? Listen, it's not that I'm trying to pass judgment or say anything about the realtors.
No, of course.
But the way I looked at it was totally different, right? And I felt that it was sexy.
Yeah.
I felt it was way sexier than being a real estate agent. I'm selling money.
Yeah.
That's how I broke it down. And everyone's always gonna need it. And I can continue to help these people that I've built such a good relationship with instead of compete with them. So why would I want to go compete with them? Even if I could edge them out or I felt confident that I could play with them, why would I want to do that? I want to help them still. I have these established relationships in place. Let me go and leverage that, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, the financing piece was something that was, you know, I was drawn to, and learning about money, right? Because it's like we're all in the entrepreneurial space because we want to make a lot of money. Yeah. Right. But when you make it, to learn about it, to understand what you can do with it, to understand how you could leverage it, to understand how you could raise it, to understand how you could really play with it and know its history, that was even more sexier to me. Because it's like, okay, I'm going to build a business and be an entrepreneur still, but I'm going to build it around money.
Yeah.
Right? It's money buys
beautiful.
happence.
Yeah,
as far as I'm concerned.
that's fucking beautiful.
And then I guess in terms
I'm
of
quitting
even-
everything. Fuck this. So I'm going to Spark. Fuck this.
in terms of I guess now reinventing yourself, right? Because you had to. Club owner, now you're selling money.
Yeah.
Right? So
That's so mint, by the way. That's the coolest thing.
It's cool,
I sell money, bro.
it's a good way to say it. I like that. How was that process for you? Because we went through something similar, obviously,
Yeah.
to coming out of nightlife,
Yeah.
going into marketing.
Yeah.
Similar but different. You know,
Yeah.
you're dealing with clients now. You're servicing clients in a different way.
Yeah.
Not on the weekends, during the week.
Yeah.
You know,
More corporate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how was that transition for you? And did you have trouble with that?
Yeah, bro, it was scary. It was weird. I felt like really, really awkward at points. Like I
Yeah.
went back to school, I got my license. Like I was like, you know, talking mortgages, right? I was like, what's this corporate world all about?
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like, there was that exploring it, but then in a short period of time, I'm like, bro, everything's a sham. It's just a fucking show out there.
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah.
It's a theater and we're all actors. You just
Yeah.
gotta fucking play the part.
Yeah.
Act, bro.
Play
That's
your
it.
character,
Yeah.
bro.
Easy.
And chill. It's all
Yeah.
gonna be all right. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, you had to go through the motions. I don't want to downplay it. I don't want to act like there's not a level of sophistication there. I don't want to act like there's not time invested and wasn't books I didn't read and courses I took and videos I watched. Like I did all that.
Yeah.
But then it's just like it's back to doing what you do. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? The same way you boys are doing it, right?
Yeah.
And how you rock out so hard with the creative aspect of things and the podcasting and building this media network now that you're doing. Like that's very different from promoting and bringing people through the club.
Yeah.
No matter
Yeah.
which way you twist it or turn it. So
Yeah.
again, I tip my hat to you guys with that. But it's the same shit. man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're just doing you.
Yeah.
You know what you're doing and you're seeing the fucking success from
And I
it,
feel like
right? Yeah.
you're in the same role you were in nightlife, but now with your company.
100%.
Like
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
you're still being that guy,
Yeah.
which was cool to see, right?
Yeah,
like you
yeah.
didn't. Was that planned as well? You're like, I'm just gonna focus on this, and then you had the partner Michael.
Oh
maybe
yeah,
focus
bro.
more on the back end.
Yeah, bro. Like from the jump, I knew, like, bro, this isn't gonna be like I'm turning into some introvert and I'm gonna fall in love with mortgages. Like, bro,
Yeah.
people ask me, like, what do you hate most about your business? I'm
Yeah.
like, mortgages. You know what I mean? Like, I fucking hate mortgages.
Yeah.
Bro. But that's like, so from the jump, I knew, okay, I gotta learn it, I gotta understand it, I gotta get a good feel for it. But then when I start scaling the business, I'm getting the fuck away from it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it doesn't align with me. And if it doesn't align with you, you're going against the grain. When you're going against the grain, you're never gonna, you know what I mean? And just boogie and feel good and bounce around. It's gonna bring your energy levels down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's not aligned with you. So you gotta learn it, understand it. That's the tough part. That's the weird part. But then you find your way into a position that you love again as you continue to scale and hire very skilled people to take part in whatever department and division it is that you're building out that know 10 times more than you about that place.
Of course.
My underwriters, I have 5 full-time underwriters.
Yeah.
They all have 30 plus years experience at the bank. Even if I went hard the last 3 years and indulged myself with mortgages, I still wouldn't know half of what they forgot about mortgages. So why wouldn't I just hire someone who knows 10 times more than me if I'm going to put a client in front of them and say, hey, we're fucking awesome at doing mortgages. I'm never going to be better than that guy. I'm never going to be better than that girl because it's just simply time and experience
Yes.
and how long they've been doing it and something that they like to do
Yes.
and I don't.
That's the key. They like to do.
They like to do
Because again,
mortgages.
it's like you said.
Yeah.
To continue building Spark in your business, yeah, you could have started learning about fucking mortgages and doing the underwriting yourself and all that shit, or you could do what you know you do best and the amount of value that's going to bring to Spark over you trying to recreate yourself, you're doing your business a disservice.
Yeah.
But then that's where, and we learned this from fucking PBD, legend by the fucking way, dude, best guy ever. Like, hire people to do the shit that you don't know how to fucking do.
And hire the best.
All day.
Yeah.
Which is something you actually did in Nightlife as well. Like, that's something you took from Nightlife.
You had to.
Yeah.
You had to.
That's why I hired you, bro.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
But if you look at it where you walk into every room and you want to be the smartest person at the table and hire people that are less qualified than you to do a certain job because you think you need to know more than them, I'm sorry, but you're wrong. And you're going to stunt your growth. And you're going to fucking hit the ceiling. You got to hire all-stars that are coming to the table and that know, like I say, you don't know half of what they forgot about what they're doing. Your chief marketing officer should go bar down on you when it comes to marketing knowledge and understanding that world. Your underwriters should know 10 times more than you about mortgages. Your operators should know how to implement systems and processes and build structure 10 times better than you.
Yeah.
You know, like, so it's just like, and embrace their strengths and pat them on the back and give them the ammunition they need to do their job and watch them rise up. And then things are just going to go fucking good.
Yeah.
You know?
And you fucking sleep better at night knowing that you have the best people in every fucking position.
Yeah.
And you're like, dude, all I had to do was pay them.
Yeah.
Pay them more than what they deserve.
100%.
You know, and more than, and obviously what you're capable, because people are going to hear that and say, well, bro, all you have to do is pay them. That's fucking money. Well, pay.
Yeah.
It's only, you have the best saying ever. I haven't heard you say it in a while, but it's only fucking
only
money.
It is.
It's only money, dude.
And for anyone,
fucking love it, dude.
anyone watching right now,
Let the good times roll.
Yeah.
And it's only fucking money.
Bro. That's it.
That's it,
I
bro.
gotta add that back in.
Bring that back,
You're
bro.
right,
Bring that back.
You're right.
dude.
I'm gonna bring
that
that
one back.
Respect. You pulled that out of the grave. I needed that.
Let's go.
It's only money,
It's only
baby.
money, bro.
it's inspiring for anyone listening that, you know, you can still be in a role that you love in a completely different industry. You might have no idea that it can happen, but you can make it happen, right? Like if you came to me when I was working for you and you said, yo, one day I'm going to be doing the exact same thing, but in mortgages. I would have said, bro, what did you just go do in the bathroom? And give me a bag of it. Okay? Because it's unbelievable. It's impossible. Right? But again,
You killed me, bro.
I think it's something that also we tried to do as well, right? Like, okay, what did we like about Nightlife? What did we like about hospitality? The marketing aspect, the creative aspect, the bringing people together. The giving people a bang where they're shocked, like, wow, this just happened. So we wanted to apply it to that. And it just goes to show that you can do it in a completely different industry. You're not stuck. Well, even if you love, if you think like, oh, you're made for this, right? Which again, looking back, I would have been like, looking at you when I was 25, 26, I'm like, oh, Nick's made for this industry. Right? I would have never pictured you anywhere else. But now you're thriving even more. But you made it happen because that's how it was calculated. Right? So it's doable.
I think a cool thing
absolutely.
about
Thank
your
you for that,
business and where ours is similar in different industries, but like even with the marketing and what you're doing with Spark and the mortgage and stuff like that is you have a business that is mutually beneficial. It's as beneficial for your client as it is for you. You make money by helping people. What a beautiful thing. You know? You're helping people either by the biggest investment of their life, you know, a home, their forever home, or their investment property that's going to make them generational wealth for their family and their bloodlines, and vice versa for us. We're helping these businesses who maybe are hurting and need more clients or need more customers. We're helping them get more customers, which leads to putting food on their table. So it's like when we started Neighborhood, that was something that we loved about the business was that we're making money helping people. What a fucking cool business.
Where it's different than Nightlife, where you're helping people just like, you know, drink away their pain. You know? So
what a difference, right? What a difference. And it shows like how much better do you feel doing business here today with Spark than anything before, right?
Yeah, bro, 100%.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, you'd walk. Yeah, no, 100%.
It's crazy. And
you walk
again,
into the room, it's like, oh, that's that nightclub owner that hosts my daughter on fucking Saturday.
What's up, bro? Everything good?
Oh, she's good.
Is everything's okay or no?
no, and listen, like I don't want to shit on anybody in the industry, in the hospitality industry.
Yeah.
Hey, do your thing, make your money, whatever. We're speaking just from personal experience.
Yeah.
And saying like, hey, man.
Bro, it's an industry that's frowned upon to the general public. And it's its own little world that when you're in it, you don't see it like that.
Yeah, from the
Because your
outside,
ego's so big.
Yeah.
But everyone
Yes.
from the outside's like, fuck, man. Like, they frown upon it.
Yeah.
It's frowned
Yeah.
upon.
So I'm
100%.
saying,
Like,
much
you
better.
feel like-
Oh, 100%. Dude, I in my boardroom, I have on the fucking front right and center wall, right? We have this huge picture that we blew up and we put on a dope frame and backlit it with an LED. And it's this family that's standing outside of a house. And they're holding hands and they're looking at this house and they just purchased this house. You could tell the picture has 1,000 words, right? And it's like when we were trying to find our purpose in regards to helping people, because it's all about perspective. So give yourself credit for understanding that. Ant. You're brilliant beyond your years, right? And I've seen that from you since you were a young guy. But your perspective is amazing because you look at it from that, and that's your why. That's the driving force. That's what's going to get you up in the morning. Because again, as beings, we're selfless.
Yeah.
So if you know you're doing it for a greater good, a bigger cause, something above and beyond you, that's when you're going to kick so much ass. So helping somebody out, helping put food on their table, helping them get into that house.
Yeah.
You know, it was something where it's like, whoa, that's our why. And whoa, that picture is what resonates with us. Let's go. Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it's what propels us forward every day and wants us to go so hard. So good on
100%.
you for recognizing
Yeah,
that
man.
and
No,
having that perspective. A lot of people miss that. What's the why?
Yeah.
Right? And
Well,
if it's
that's-
for selfish reasons, you don't
Which-
go as hard.
Yes,
Yes.
it's true.
Don't.
Yeah.
Well, even in nightlife, it was the why was like other people, but it's mostly for yourself because you're like, okay, well, I want to get 100 people here so I can make that money,
100%.
or I
And-
want to do this so that this person thinks that of me. It's always
Right.
it was always going back to you,
Right.
And it's the
Right.
ego part. There's
Yeah.
a big ego part there
ego
where I feel
part.
like with these businesses that we're both operating in, there's no ego.
No.
There's
There's no
need to
reason.
be.
There's no reason
Yeah.
to be.
Yeah.
You're showing up. You're like, dude, I just want to build a team,
Yeah.
help people, and fucking grow this thing.
Yeah.
Because the bigger I grow this thing, the more everybody around me eats.
Yeah. Yeah.
In the best way.
Yeah.
Right.
So let's talk about Spark.
100%.
Let's
That's
talk about
exactly
Spark
what
a
it
bit
is.
because
Yeah.
you kind of came into the industry like a
Disrupting.
fucking machine, dude.
Yeah.
You know, like out of nowhere. Holy shit, Spark is huge.
Yeah.
And I would attest a lot of it to.
Spark is huge, dude. Spark is
It's
fucking
huge,
huge,
bro.
bro.
Hey,
Huge.
boys, that means a lot, man. We still feel like we're in our infant stages.
I know.
but
Which is
coming
no,
from,
no, but you're
coming
growing-
from you guys because you guys are doing it big too. That means a lot.
You're growing so fast, man, and I would attest a lot of it to the culture that you're building at
Yes.
Spark, right?
Yes,
I think
absolutely.
that I think you put huge importance on that. So maybe speak on that a little bit and speak on the fact that you've been able to grow so quickly.
Yeah,
get
the scale.
these team members on your team and these partners that are so loyal and they buy into what you want to do.
Yeah.
Right? It's
Yeah.
so impressive, right? Like you can walk in a room and I've seen you do this and people buy into whatever you're saying. I'm not even joking.
Yeah.
I buy into it. Right? Like we both
Sure.
have, right?
Yeah.
So maybe speak on the culture part
Yeah.
and speak on, you know, being able to sell yourself to so many people, but in a genuine way.
Right, right. Yeah, thanks. Huge compliments again. Thank you. So there's levels to it. There's layers on that, right?
Yeah.
But to go in and hit it and really, you know, get it at its core, again, it's leading with love. It's having good intentions.
Yeah.
It's wanting to embrace everybody's strength and looking at everyone saying, what do you like to do? What are you good at? And what do you need to be able to kick some serious ass doing it? Because I'm going to get it for you and I'm going to have your back.
Yeah.
And when you fire someone up like that and you take that interest in them and you genuinely show them that love,
Yeah.
right? And then you equip them with what they need, look out, bro.
Yeah.
Look out, bro. That person is going to light up, man.
Yeah.
So Spark is a we thing. It's not a me thing.
Yeah.
And that's my whole squad, bro. I got the best partners in the world. I got the most amazing staff, and we get down together day in, day out because I give them what they need. I want what's best for them. I will have their back. And that's felt. That's where the culture, that's where it stems from.
Yeah.
Now there's layers to that, you know, in regards to, okay, what are those things that you provide them with, right? Monetarily, you got to make sure they're getting paid good. You got to
Yeah.
make sure that you show them a roadmap and that they can continue to grow and get paid even better. Because in our economy right now, it's scary out there. You got to give people faith that if they fuck with you, you're going to make sure that they're going to be able to get through it.
Yeah.
Not even anything more than just simply being able to pay your bills these days is a tough thing to do.
True.
So that's
Yeah.
number one,
Yeah.
right? That's the food, the shelter, the
Yeah.
family, taking care of that. Number two is trying to continue to help them be the best versions of themselves outside of work. So my coach coaches the whole team now.
Yep.
Our whole my coach are my staff's coach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I've learned, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. What
Yep.
I've learned, I want to give to them too. I'm like, hey man, I've done a lot of things for myself, but this is something that's so awesome that I want to share with you, and I want you guys to be better too. In coach's program, there's nothing to do with business.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
It's the wheel of life. So I'm not giving them a program and then somewhere in it, it's going to really, speak about spark to them. It's not that. It's
Yeah.
nothing like that. But for them showing up every day and being the best version of themselves, not only are their friends and their family and their life going to benefit, but obviously their workplaces as
course.
well. So yes, it does work for the business. But,
Yeah.
the life coaching layer was massive, right?
Yeah.
Showing that you can make partner within the corporation. Over a couple handfuls of people in my corporation have made partner in some of the verticals and the subsidiary companies that we've built out in the portfolio. And I like to say I'm not an equity slut. 1% of something that makes fuck you money with good partners and people that you could high five with is way better than something that you have 100% of that doesn't.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I like partners that are willing to get into the trenches with me and get down, bro.
Yeah. Mhm.
So a lot of them have made partners. They see their coworkers and associates making partner, getting raises, growing to be beasts in the company. So that drives everyone even harder because they want to make partner. They want to, continue to rise and grow
Yeah.
within the corporation, and they're seeing it happen all around them. Providing a solid workplace. We got 5-star style office. When you come in through that office, you're getting greeted by the secretary. Your name's on a screen. You're given a coffee menu, smiles on everyone's faces, and just like that culture in there. Like I want them all to have big desks and big offices and whatever they want in regards to awesome coffee and snacks. We're catering lunch in all the time, so they're eating nice. I'm not checking the watch, bro, and making sure they're punching in or punching out. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
get real here, right?
Yeah.
They got to take days off to do what they got to do above and beyond their vacation time. Do what you got to do. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it's having that cool kind of like flexible relationship with them, but a very cool physical environment for them to come into every day and get inspired.
Yeah.
Be like this office is sick,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and the people in it are even sicker. You know what I mean? So those are some of the things that
Which is
really
the vibe we
add
got
to
too.
the
Like
culture,
we've come to the headquarters.
Yeah.
I got the pleasure of coming to the first one too.
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
You guys were one of the first guys to the new HQ.
Yeah, it wasn't even finished. Yeah, you're still fucking
And, like,
Reynolds.
You can tell like everyone is so happy.
Yeah,
Everyone that's there.
Yeah,
They're so happy. They just want to help you. They're smiling. And it's
Yeah.
all genuine too.
Yeah.
So to see that and obviously like the headquarters is sick. This guy's got arcade games. He's got the mic, like Wolf of Wall Street. Like it's
the
out of a movie kind of
coffee
vibe.
menu, bro. This guy's got the coffee menu like it's like a scripture.
He gave
bro.
us a
It's
coffee
collab
menu,
with
like we were at a
crazy.
restaurant, like we got a menu, and they're like, "What kind of coffee you want?" And I said, "Bro, how much is this guy gonna charge me right now? I'm gonna get invoiced right now for fucking like that's you know what I mean?"
imagine a skinny Bill showing up on the
at the end on your
It's a
way out.
shark.
Right?
Yeah,
But
just
again-
pay the bill. Yeah.
And I give you a lot of credit because you're doing it in an industry that, in my opinion, is an old industry, right? That needed a revamp in a way, right? So
You got people on their toes now. You got people shaking.
Good.
I think so.
It's good.
that's how they should be.
Because that's what, you know what? That's what the clients need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what the coworker, that's what the employees need.
Yeah.
That's what the industry needs. That's what the sector needs, right?
Yeah.
It needs that vibrant energy. It
Yeah.
needs that love. It needs that care. It needs that collaboration, brother,
Yeah.
where we
Yeah.
all have each other's backs. Because then you know who wins?
Everybody.
Yeah.
Not just one person, not just the client or not just the agent or not just the boss. Everybody wins. So that's
Yeah.
why I say good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'd love for everybody to level up because then everyone continues to win.
I think the coolest thing though is like, I think your competitors are looking now and you're forcing your competitors to move in the direction that you guys are paving the way for, which in turn helps the customers as a whole, because now you forced your competitors to treat the customer better.
Right.
What a cool thing.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, exactly.
What a fucking crazy thing.
Yeah.
You've come in, disrupted it so much that your competitors are going, fuck. Okay, maybe right now we're bigger than Nick and Spark, but if they keep going this route, they're gonna pass us.
Yeah.
So holy shit, you're like forcing their hand
Yeah.
to kind of
Yeah.
follow your lead in a way, but now you're trailblazing. And like I think in business, that's one of the coolest things, is to be the trailblazer, the person who does things different and forces everybody around them to have to follow their lead.
Cool.
Now you've become a leader.
Right.
So even though maybe you're smaller than them employee-wise, gross revenue-wise, whatever, real estate portfolio-wise, whatever, you've become the leader, even if you have a quarter of what they have in terms of years of experience, money, or whatever. Like that, I think, is the most important thing. That's something that we've always tried to do with everything. We're not the biggest agency in Toronto. We're probably we're not even half of what the biggest agencies are. You know, even podcasts. Yeah, we have 100,000 subs. Whatever we have, it's big in some people's eyes, but we're fucking babies in comparison to the guys at the top. But I feel like we're forcing people to do things differently because we're changing the game in certain ways, right?
Absolutely.
So it's like, and I think that's important for anybody in business, is like, you can be a trailblazer even if you're 1% of the biggest person in the world in terms of what they have and where you're at. But if you're continuously trying to do things differently and change the game, they're going to be forced to look at you.
Yeah.
Right.
Right? They're going to be forced to take notice. And I'm sure people have done that with Spark. Some of your biggest competitors, whether they've reached out to collaborate, work together on something or whatever, I'm sure. Or maybe they've been sliding fake emails to try to figure out how you guys are doing shit, like whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm 100% certain they are, just because of the noise you guys are making. Right?
Yeah.
You got to credit a lot to your marketing.
Appreciate that, brother.
Yeah. No,
I
I'm just
thank you for that.
It just is
means
what
the
it
world
is.
to me, and you're very good with the way you articulate your words and what you say when you say it.
Right?
Yeah, he's fucking
No, it's just, but bro, it's just because I'm just telling you what I see.
Yeah,
and again,
yeah,
it's what I can appreciate that, especially when I know that we're trying so hard to do it.
Yeah.
And when I see someone else doing it, I have nothing but love and good things to say, because I'm like,
You know
that's
how hard
tough.
it is. Yeah,
I know
you know
how hard it is to do.
Yeah.
Right. So keep doing your thing, bro, because I think it's only a matter of time. Like I said, maybe you don't have the amount of money or employees or whatever now that the big banks and the big loaning companies have and whatnot, but it's just a matter of time at that point.
Yeah.
As long as you guys stay on this at this work rate, it's just time.
Yeah.
I think that's one thing I try to say to everybody, not to go on this whole tangent, but I think it's important. Like I think I try to say to people, a lot of people that DM us for advice and stuff, is if you can truly commit to never giving up, you will 100% reach your goal.
100%.
It's literally, the math adds up.
Yeah.
If you say to yourself, I will never fucking quit, you will 100% reach your goal. Because you're just never going to give up. So eventually the odds start going in your favor. They start not in your favor, but as you keep going and failing, but just keep trying and trying, the odds start going like this. You're going up, and the chance of failure starts going down until all of a sudden, now your chance of success is at 90 and your chance of failure is at 10.
Yeah.
It started the other way at one point.
Yeah.
Right? So that's the fucking key.
100%.
The key is just never stopping.
100%.
It's cliche, right? It's the fucking cliche thing to say, I know, but it's the most truest thing in business, I think, at least.
100%. So, bro, you nailed it again, out of the park.
Thanks.
100%.
But
Nothing
I
to even add on that. You covered all.
no,
ground there, bro.
but it's cool because
Facts.
that's your whole story, I think.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And we're talking about everything, your ups and downs and where you are now. It's like, it's because you just never stop. You're fucking relentless.
Yeah.
I even asked you, I said, bro, did you take a break between energy? You go, no, dude, no. I went fucking straight into it, you know? So it's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool to see. It's important.
And I think
And you guys too.
Thank
Sorry to cut you out,
up?
but you guys too.
we
And
try,
that's
man.
why I said I'm the biggest fans of you two specifically, and anything you build, I will always be a supporter. I will always get down with. I will always try to provide whatever I have to for you, because I spot them from a mile away.
Mm-hmm.
There's not it's not happening in a big way out there, and I wish it was.
Yeah.
And I'm all about, you know, reaching out and collaborating and helping one if they need to, you know. But like, you guys are doing it, bro, and you're like, again, bro, you guys are trailblazers, and I look up to you, and a lot of what the trending things are in the world you're bringing to the market, we're using at Spark, and we're saying, hey, that's brilliant. They hit it. This is what's working. Or the program that we're going to run right now, right? It's like, hey. Oh, holy fuck. This is money. This is where it's all about, right here. Yeah, don't look past this. Okay, guys, let me take this and work on it and put in my work to, like, you know what I mean? Like,
what was the coolest
you know
thing?
What I'm saying?
We go, hey, Nick, you want to just give out $1,000? You want to hide $1,000 in Vaughn? Like, yeah, no problem. Let's do it.
Let's do
What
it,
time and where?
Yeah.
It's the coolest
so
thing.
Like, what you guys are doing, though, right, is magical, because it's setting trend within the market and then having everyone follow suit. Again, Trailblazers, relentlessness. Whether it's building a media network, a creative agency, a badass podcast and platform in which hundreds of thousands of people or millions have viewed and subscribed and are watching in, you know, like, that's inspiring. Look at your age. Look at what you guys are. You don't, like...
Yeah.
Keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I want to credit a lot of it to your marketing too, and like you putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
Right. Which you started doing in a very strong way. And we were speaking a bit off cam, and you know, a lot of people won't do that because they care about what people think.
Yeah.
Right. So that's a hump that you also got over.
Right.
Caring
Okay.
about what other people think.
But again, don't want to sound redundant here.
Yeah.
Right. Talked about this when the cameras were off. I followed your lead with that.
Yeah.
I watched you guys lead with balls and lead with saying, I don't care about the opinions of others. I know who I am. I know what I stand for. I know what I want to do, and I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And to break through. I watched you guys from episode 1 with Matt Campoli. 3 of you at the table with a few drinks up until now, man. I watched you guys blow through that and continue on. So I followed your lead in that way. And the way what we were saying it, the way we were putting it before the cameras came on, was your whole world opens up.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, there's an insane
Yeah.
amount of opportunity, right? And when you crack out of your shell, you're never gonna make everyone happy, bro.
Yeah.
There's gonna be people who love you, and there's gonna be people who don't love you,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And no matter what, that'll always be the case.
Yeah.
And if you could wrap your head around that, the world is your oyster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like if
again,
you're
you guys led with that.
I feel like if you're in a position where everyone loves you, you're probably not being yourself.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Facts.
Because
Right.
that's something we learned too, right?
Right.
Like when you're trying to make everyone happy, you're like, oh, but I'm not even being me right
No,
now.
you lost yourself.
Right?
You lost yourself.
And I want to speak a little bit on getting off that hump of caring what people think, because I think a lot of our viewers are in that position, right? We get a lot of messages as well, like, hey, I want to start a podcast, but I'm afraid people aren't going to like what I have to say, or people are going to say this or that, right? How like what kind of things did you do to get over that hump?
Yeah.
Right? And what kind of benefits did you see after getting over that hump? Because that's the main thing.
Yeah.
So
So
was there a first to include in his question? Was there even like a first moment when you did it and you go, "Oh, okay, that's fucking cool. I could do that again."
not that comes to my mind or resonates
Okay.
with
Yeah.
me. I think it was a gradual process
Yes.
of me coming out on the stories.
Yes.
Right. And then getting some DMs. And it's like, oh, you know what I mean? These people are leveling with
Yeah.
me, or they're aligning with me, or they like it. All right. You know, so it was confidence that came from the crowd that was giving me feedback through the messages. And that's why I will be forever grateful for my following on the social media, because they really inspire me as well and fuel me to keep me going. Right. The beautiful DMs I get, the messages, sometimes even phone calls come in and say, hey, man, I just want to say, just fucking keep doing what you're doing, man. I love it. And
Those
you
are the
really
best.
inspire me. I'm like, oh, fuck, man. All right, cool. You know,
Yeah.
because to go to your point a little earlier, if you could just change one life, if you could just have, you know, one person have a little breakthrough, or you could help someone out with a situation, it's so rewarding to be
Yeah.
able to give back and get that feeling. So, yeah, I want to credit them in a big, big way, but it was more of a gradual process of me getting out of the shell and then really understanding, you know, that integrity is a big, big, big core value of mine. And to be integral, to go to your point, with oneself. So what do I align with? What are my beliefs? What are my wants, needs, and desires? What's my perspective on things? And to speak truth to that is being integral. When you're being integral and authentic, if you guys believe in energy fields, authenticity is 4,000 times more powerful than love. It's the most powerful thing in the world to be authentic, right?
Wow.
So if you stay integral with who it is you are, right? That authenticity people are drawn to, and your following becomes cult.
Yeah.
It's a cult following. Of
course.
But again, to go to your point, because you hit the nail on the head when you said, if you're making everyone happy, you lost yourself because you're going to the beat of everyone else's drum. So whatever they're saying, you're saying. Whatever the other side's saying, you're saying, and you're agreeing with. So who the fuck are you?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You don't have no personality. You don't have no stance. You don't have no values. You don't have any of that. You're just floating in the wind. That's scary,
Yep.
bro.
No,
if everyone loves you, that's fucking scary.
Yeah.
You made a fucking banger of a point though about how when you're being authentic, the following that you build is a cult following.
Yeah.
Cult.
Right? And we noticed this because we had our ups and downs, especially with the podcast, where we had a moment where we were gaining all these followers, but the conversations we were having, we didn't even want to be having, but we were having them to get the views, to get the likes, the comments, the followers.
To make others happy.
And it was coming,
Right.
and it was
Right.
coming because it was making our network happy, but we weren't happy. And the following we were gaining didn't even really love us.
Yeah.
They were just loving whatever the content was for that moment, right? So when we made our big mindset shift came the beginning of this year for the podcast, we said, fuck this. We're only having conversations we want to have. If we were getting 100, 200, 300,000 views on an episode, if we go back down to 1,000, bro, I don't give a fuck because it's the conversations we want to have. And bro, what happened was you have to though. You have to listen. We lost advertising deals because our views went down. We lost everything. But what did we gain, bro? We started slowly seeing it. The followers coming back at a slower rate, slower. But people who would die for us, people
run
who would
through walls.
listen, who would listen to anything we said, who fuck with every part about who we are, right? And what we put online.
Yeah.
And that is the fucking key. You made a banger of a point that when you do everything you do in an authentic way, the following, the network you build, everything becomes like a cult. People that would fucking die for you, would buy whatever you're selling. It doesn't would run through walls for you, would go to war with you.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that's important. So I think anyone who's listening, whether it be a business, whether it's a podcast, a piece of content, or something you're trying to build up, it's one of those things where forget the fucking views, forget doing things for the little trends in the moment to try to get this. If it's not something you like or believe in, do what you love, take the slow ride.
Yeah.
But in the long run, I'd rather have 10,000 fucking cult followers than 1 million people who liked me for one stupid fucking thing I said.
All day.
Because they'll forget about me like this.
All day.
But the 10,000 people that follow me because they love what I say and love what I do, they're with you forever.
They'll run through walls.
Exactly.
Run through walls.
And I see that with you in your business.
Right.
Your team would go to war with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And there's nothing more important or valuable than that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
When you're
Fucking
authentic.
banger.
Nailed it.
All right.
Yeah.
Kurt, cut the scene,
another
man.
10. Another 10.
The thing is, when you're
No, because you're leading me into these thoughts where I'm going, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And I just want to spit it because you're guiding me in that direction,
Nailed it.
you know?
Yeah.
Nailed it.
And when you're
Nailed it.
authentic, I think that you're taking a risk, because the way I look at it is like, okay, if I post something online, that's a strong opinion of mine. I'm gonna say, okay, I'm gonna get one person who fucking loves me now and one person who fucking hates me.
Yeah.
I'll play that game.
Yeah.
Actually,
I'll play that game.
Actually, it's
you know what
probably-
I mean?
Yeah.
Because the people who love us, bro, it's love.
Yeah.
And listen, the most successful people in the world, the most popular people in the world, the amount of hate that they get is ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
We got the GOAT, we got Cristiano Ronaldo, most followed person in the world. He gets hated, most hated
person.
No, but
most
but-
hated,
but
right?
the
So
thing
you
is-
gotta kind of accept that if you're gonna grow,
Absolutely.
right? And say, you know what?
Absolutely.
If I'm gonna have a following of 1 million people, there's gonna be 5,000-10,000 people that really don't like me.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
I'd even argue.
you know,
I'd
all
even
day
argue.
long.
I'd even argue that you put strong opinions out into the world. You be authentic. You get one person that loves you and 100 that
Yeah.
hate you.
Yeah.
I'd actually argue that it's not even 1-to-1. You're gonna get way more haters than people who love you.
Be an interesting stat to understand. But you know what? To go to your point, I think you're dead on balls with that for sure. You bring on a lot more hate than love.
Well, we saw it. We kind of saw it when we were outspoken.
Ballsy move
Super
for
ballsy.
you guys to shift the fucking gears again and go in that direction and be okay with some short-term losses for some long-term gains and to stay authentic and integral to who you are. That's OG status stuff, bro.
It's welcome to the show type of
and
shit.
And also the hate actually comes back around most times. And there's a percentage of those haters that become lovers.
Yes.
After a while too.
They gotta hate you first. Yeah.
They gotta hate you. But think about this, right? Like when even on a whole different scale, when you started Spark, there was probably people out there that said, "What the fuck's Nicky think he's doing?"
Yeah.
He was
Who does
just
he
in
think he is?
He was
Yeah,
in clubs,
sure.
bro. He was in clubs.
Oh yeah.
This, girls, drinks, that, drugs. He's gonna give me a mortgage now.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? But guess what? Now they believe you.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe they didn't last year.
Yeah.
But now they believe you. Maybe they don't love you, but they respect you.
Right.
Right?
There's no way.
100%.
And we've seen that too on our end, right? With a lot of the people that, you know what? Yo, I used to watch you guys and I used to maybe not like what you guys said, but I respect this. Or I actually watch you guys now.
Yeah.
Right? So again, that's like the long-term play. It's like, you can hate me now, but you're going to end up loving me. You have no choice.
Yeah, you're right.
We're here. We're not going anywhere. Right?
Exactly.
So I think that's a huge part too, where people don't understand that, you could get hate at the beginning because you're doing something different.
Yeah.
Right? When you're trying to change the game, everyone's going to look at you like, bro, you can't do that.
Yeah.
What are you trying to do?
Yeah.
Right?
You're
Even
just
people in
getting
your
into
industry.
this, right? Yeah, but that relentlessness, that pursuit of just trying to smash and achieve your goals, treating everyone around you right, that's, to go to your point, that's why they end up loving you or they end up respecting you,
Exactly.
right? It's because it's like, bro, how can I not?
Exactly.
You've been going at this pretty hard, you know? So yeah, for sure. Strong, man. Bro. Strong, yeah.
What a fucking chat, bro. I could go all day with you.
Jay,
bro,
where are
you
we
know?
at right now?
Oh,
Yeah, baby. We're gonna have to make this a 2-part episode, eh? Our first 2-part.
Wow, that's dirty, bro.
Yeah, dude, honestly, like, I don't know if you want to speak on anything about Spark or anything that you have planned. I know you have a lot of projects in the pipeline. I don't know what you could speak on, what you can't. But talk to us about what your goals are, like what the future looks like for Nick.
Yeah, so on an overall, I'm going for $1 billion valuation, right? So on an ongoing basis, I need an annual revenue of about $650 million, right? So able to get there, right? You know, got to build out the right verticals, got to make sure that these subsidiaries are complementary to one another, got to make sure that I'm going into different marketplaces and continuing on trend with what I'm doing right now because it's working.
Yeah.
Last year alone, we doubled up on staff. So now we're at 30 full-time people.
Wow.
And we have no agents, just full-time employees.
Yeah.
And then we added 300% to our top line revenue.
Wow.
And now going into this year, there's 3 more verticals that have been activated. Well, 2 more, and then 1 down here in Florida that have been activated with revenues.
Yeah.
So that's 300% top line growth without those new verticals that are going to act as complementary ones. Now, so you really got to build a real solid foundation and have different streams of revenue coming into the portfolio when you're going after that big of a goal.
Yeah.
And we're being coached and consulted by Patrick Bet-David. We just signed on with his program.
Massive.
And he's consulting because he's exited a company of that size, right?
Yeah. Hire the best again.
Right.
Yep.
And those, like, you know, it's crazy, you know, when you start to understand these high level decisions, and making the wrong one can cost you millions of dollars, right? Because you're going to go down too far down a path and make a decision that, you know, maybe you're pulling trigger too early on something that you shouldn't be. And that'll cost you lots of time and lots of money. Whereas if you would have just simply made a little bit of a different decision, that would have not only saved you that money, but made you a lot more. So it's at a point now where that high level consulting is needed, and surrounding ourselves with some really fucking elite people that know how to move and shake in the entrepreneurial space is what it's come to.
Yeah.
But very confident that we're going to get there, right? And
Do you have a timeline, or not a timeline? Do you have a target for the $1 billion valuation?
We do,
Yeah.
and it's 10 years, right?
Nice.
But here's the thing, right? Like, as much as it's 10 years and we're going to go hard at making it happen within 10 years, if it takes 15, fuck it. You know what I mean?
It's what we were saying earlier. You're just not
I
gonna
honestly
stop.
think if you're gonna go at this
Yeah,
speed,
sure.
if you're going at this speed, bro, you're gonna get there faster.
We got to get there, right?
I think you're gonna get there faster.
Yeah.
Straight up.
That'd be fucking awesome.
Because you're
man.
moving at lightning
Thank you.
speed right now.
Yeah.
You know? So we got $1 billion man right here.
Yeah.
Boom! Look at that fucking jacket, bro.
Yeah.
Come on, bro.
That's to support
That's
the Blazer,
17 Gs,
baby.
buddy.
That's to support. I was saying it's 17,000 on my back is what we raised. I put it on your boys' back. This thing goes to 7 million. But one other thing I wanted to talk about in light of our newfound partnership is
Yes.
that I'm really excited for this new personal development space that I'm getting into and getting into bed with you boys, right?
Yep.
With our newest project that we're going to release pretty soon to the public. And why I'm excited about it is not, I haven't even looked at what the market share is and on the global scale or even in our market. I'm excited in it because it's just so good.
Yeah.
It's a good place. You talk about physical environment. Everyone in those spaces, you know,
Yeah.
the cold tub therapy, the breath work, the saunas, the doing all those, and activating all those modalities. They're people on a development journey. So no matter what stage they're at, they want to be the best version of themselves, and they're trying.
Yeah.
And they're putting in that effort, and to be surrounded by those people that want to go in that direction and that are going in that direction, and that some are even well on their way in that direction. It's a beautiful place because I like to say a rising tide lifts all ships. So, you know, whether it's you're throwing someone a line because you have a little bit more experience in that space and you're helping them out, or you're being thrown a line from an OG like our partner Gio in that space, and he's helping drag you up. It's just this beautiful space that I'm very excited to get involved with. And I think we're going to do very big things, and the revenues there are going to be sick.
Oh, yeah.
But more so, how it's going to bring out a really high vibration in all of us,
Oh,
and
buddy.
just kind of
yeah.
bounce around like is going to be special. And that's
yeah.
something that I know is going to be a different experience in the entrepreneurial space, and I'm very excited for. And I know there's been so many things that we've connected on in the past, right? And this one being the official one that we're actually going to sign on a corporation together and be partners and be in bed with one another is special, because like I said, not only do I look up to you boys and what you guys are doing, but we go back and we have a lot of the same roots, right?
Yeah.
So it's cool to be getting into bed with gentlemen like yourself and Gio and Els and the rest of the crew, because it's a dope little crew, right?
Yeah. It's
Bees. Little Bees is in on it.
Of course. it's kind of crazy that we went from like working in the clubs
Yeah.
to now a wellness venue.
Yeah.
What a change
Like, you know,
up.
like,
yeah.
but we're
Change
still
up,
getting that dopamine. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, that's for
right?
sure.
And in
From
terms of the
10X.
market share, whatever it is, we're gonna take it.
We're gonna take it. Yeah,
I'll tell you right
100%.
now,
Yeah,
right? Because
yeah.
it's about to be magical, and going back to it as well, like we're helping people,
We're helping people.
right? So you guys got to look out for that, because that's coming in the next couple months.
Yep.
It's gonna change a game.
But I think
The
it's time
boys
for
and
the-
Nikki,
I think it's
Yeah.
time for the big question, though.
give it to him.
Nick, we're the Money Buys Happiness
Yeah.
podcast. MBH, Money Buys Happiness,
Yeah.
baby. So I want to know if Nick Regina believes money buys happiness.
I believe in the boys who have powered up Money Buys Happiness. So that means I believe in Money Buys Happiness.
Yes.
Because I believe in
Yes.
the two founders and the boys who are powering it up. Because it's all about that foundation and the leaders of Money Buys Happiness. So absolutely, I believe in it.
Beautiful. I fucking love it.
Does money buy
You
you
cannot
happiness?
believe it.
Does money buy you happiness?
So, you know what the funniest thing is? Through all the podcasts, I've heard you ask all the guests in all the episodes that I've watched that question. And I'm like, man, the day when I'm on that podcast is going to be such a surreal experience. And I should prep for that question.
Yeah.
And I should have an answer to it, right? But and then you just kind of fumble things in your head when you think about it, right? And that's the answer that, you know, I had that came to me quite naturally and innate. I believe in the movement of Money Buys Happiness because of the founders behind it. And what I think you're going to do on a global scale is going to be revolutionary, right? And is really going to be a driving force for many beautiful things to come of it and the community you're creating within it. But actually making the money, right? And being, it's when I make money, I want to give it away to people that need it more than I do, to help propel and excel their lives, to put food on the table. Hence the Blazer, right? We're always doing something philanthropic, right? And giving back to a charity and doing things for other people. The $1 billion, what are you going to do with the money when you sell? I said, I'm going to fucking give it away, bro.
Yeah.
What the fuck am I going to do with the money? Give it to my kids, I'm going to fucking fuck their lives
Yeah,
up. You
for
know what I
sure.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
Or, you know, I don't want to say that, right?
But no, I know what you're saying. I know
You know
what
where
you're
I'm
saying.
going with this, right?
yeah.
Where it's like, listen, it's not what you leave to the kids, it's what you leave in them.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And leading by example and showing them whatever they put their mind to, they could do, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
It's not that I don't want to provide well for my family and my kids, and I don't want to bring them up and raise them and have them be able to have a beautiful lifestyle in childhood. I'm going to provide them that, right? But in regards to the people that need the money out there, that are dying of starvation, that are suffering from life-threatening illnesses, that are not able to break away from their neighborhoods and these places that are satanic, demonic, and are not healthy for them, I want to give it all away in helping the world.
Yeah.
I want to be a part of the revolution. Is the big fight right now against good and evil.
Yeah.
And we're the good guys, bro.
I know.
But the only way that we're going to combat that, we need money.
Lots.
So I'm going to fucking get it. And I'm going to fucking give it away. And we're going to fight the evil people.
Let's go, bro.
You're doing the right things with the
We're
money.
the fucking
bro.
Avengers,
so fucking
bro.
Right, money
Yeah,
buys
straight up.
happiness, bro.
Yeah, fucking right. Fucking right, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Yo, Nick,
Yeah.
listen, man.
Appreciate you, bro.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much, bro.
Appreciate you, bro.
You guys.
I'm happy.
Yeah.
I'm really fucking happy we got to do this. Like I said, we only want to do podcasts and have conversations that we want to have, and this is the one that we've been waiting to have for a long time. Bro.
That's
Yeah.
awesome, man.
So
That
really
means
appreciate
so much
you.
to me. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Thank you,
I'm
bro.
happy it's done in Florida.
Yeah,
where we
yeah,
both kind of planted some new roots. I think it actually makes more sense.
Absolutely.
That,
Perfect
it
timing.
happened here. Yeah, man. Yo,
Absolutely.
keep going because you're a big inspiration for us and everything we're doing. We're watching. We're cheering from the sidelines. We'll be cheering together now with our new ventures, and it's inspiring. You're inspiring a lot of people, whether you know it or you don't. Maybe you get 10 messages a day or a week, but there's probably thousands of people who are, thanking you in their heads for what you're doing and the way you're doing it. So keep it up. You're absolutely fucking killing it. And I think we're going to look back on this podcast and the things we spoke about, and it's going to be funny to look back and see all the things that we manifested. We didn't even realize it, but that we manifested in this episode. Dude, I can't thank you enough, man. Thank you.
Appreciate
you
that.
Love
coming
you,
on.
bro.
It means the world
Yeah.
to me, man. Thank you. Thank
Guys,
you
go
very
follow
much.
Nikki, please.
Yes. We'll drop his
At
links
Nick
at
Regina.
Regina, at Spark Financial Group. Everything will be in the fucking bio. You guys know how we do it. If you made it this far, damn, this might be one of our longest episodes. Rightfully so. So much value here. Love you guys. Appreciate you. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. Leave a comment. I'm sure you've commented 20 times already because you guys are the best. Ernesto's going to say buy more merch. I'll say it for him.
Buy more merch, please.
And
I want to stay in Miami.
Now, we love you guys. Thank you so much. And with that being said, Jay,